welcome back to So Shameless. I'm here with Kasha. I'm here with Tasia. I'm here with Daj. Melly's over there looking gorgeous. She's going on vacation.
Ew.
Shout out to her. I love when Melly turns up.
Yes, I have fun with Melly in Mexico too.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that's another
because
Melly.
she don't do. When I seen her on, could not believe that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we had a moment too, Melly. Remember we had that moment at the dinner?
Oh,
that's right. She got to sit on your breast.
Melly was laying on me all night. I was just rubbing her, getting her warm and shit. Next thing you know, we had a whole
fed her some shots.
That's dope. Melly fell asleep at one point for 2 seconds before the food came.
I'm so fucking jealous.
She was on me.
I was looking at my mouth, Tahoe.
We could set her.
That shit look comfortable.
She was sitting there like that though, so I was like, nah.
You saw her ass? Yo, I just want to cuddle. It's the titties and the ass.
I know I like women, right? Y'all better be careful.
I just want to cuddle. I know what I'm saying. We Pisces. We all on the sides.
All right, hold on.
Girl, I love women. I love women. Women is my favorite.
Why did you give them tequila?
I'm just saying.
It wasn't even a tequila.
It's you. You said that's tequila.
That's not tequila. That's estrogen and a little
serotonin. People have to listen to this, and y'all giving me hella fucking audio editing
overlay. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna be like this, like turn her down, turn her up, turn her down.
Oh, you and me.
Either way.
So tell us about what happened, Tahoe.
So my daughter calls me today and asks me to take her to her road test on Monday. And I'm like, all right, sure, yeah. Whatever, figure out what car she's gonna take. She can't take my car. She doesn't drive my car. It's a big ass Jeep. And I'm like, she's like, and I'm like, well, why are you so like hyped to get a car right now? Like you haven't even started your job yet. And she's like, oh, I just need a car, da 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 da. And I'm like, telling her like, yo, you're now gonna have to pay insurance. You're now gonna have to pay a car note. Mm-hmm. Like you haven't even gotten your first paycheck yet. And this is what you're doing. You're putting yourself through this. Mm-hmm. And it was a whole long conversation. And I was like, but you could literally just take the train. And she was like, Daddy, I can't take the train like that. And I was like, why? And she was like, somebody followed me the other day.
What?
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Sorry. And she was like, yeah, he like followed me for like 5 minutes. And I had to like go inside a store because there was people in there. And like he follows me in the store. And like when I first passed him, he tried to he was like, said something to me, but I had my headphones on. And I tried to act like I didn't hear him. And then he like just followed me. And he literally followed me for like 5 minutes until I just felt like really unsafe. And she went in the store and then he walked up to her and was like pressed her to give him her number or to get her number. And like she was like, I'm not giving you the number, whatever. And he was like telling her about herself and she's like feeling uncomfortable. She felt good. She was in a store amongst people. But she finally had to take his like Instagram or whatever. And she was like, I'll follow you or whatever. And then she walked off, she ran down the train station. So I think she said that he followed her like to the train station, but didn't like go down across into the, like once she went through the turnstile, she blocked him. She got on the train, but she was really nervous. She got on the train. She said she was on the train and another guy comes up to her on the train is like, what'd he say? Do you want to model for me? And she's like, I don't model. And he's like, then be my girlfriend. And I'm sitting there, I got so quiet, right? Because I'm sitting here telling her, take the train or whatever. But I'm like, yo, niggas, like, and then what do I do? Like, how do I help her with this? Like, this is gonna be an everyday. Y'all see my daughter's shape. Y'all see how she looks. How do I help her with this? Like, I'm at a loss for words because I've done this. I've literally walked past a woman, seen how good she looked. I've never followed a woman, but I've watched her with my eyes. I've seen her look down and see to like, oh, he's gonna say something. Like, oh God, like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen her feel that attention coming. I can see them stiffen up as they walk. They just want to be left alone. They're waiting for me to like run up or say something. So they just like keep going. You can tell that this is their experience. They're used to this. And so as a man who has some sort of sense, I'm just gonna leave Shorty alone. Damn, she look good as shit. God damn. Like, right? But let me leave Shorty alone. Look, she got all tight and shit. But nigga, every second, like, and women that look like y'all, every second there's a nigga. Every second. And mental health is crazy out here.
Yeah.
Mental health is sick,
but the
out
lack
here.
of resources available for it is even
It's
worse.
crazier.
So you got a problem with a limited solution, especially in New York, where the population is so big. Tahoe, you got yourself so this. More than one thing. First of all, let me say this blanket statement: the most dangerous thing at this point for a woman to do in this day and age is reject a man.
Yep.
Right? I'm gonna just
Because
say
my mom told her, apparently she had this conversation with my mom. She didn't want to tell me.
Of course not.
She didn't want to tell me, right? And my mother was like, you should have just said no. You should have said no.
That's a back in the day thing. You can't do
and
that
back in
no
the
more.
days, yeah, but they don't respect it. See, back in the days, even with crime, there was morals. They didn't shoot up at playgrounds. They left families alone, mothers. None of that those principles don't exist today. And then on top of it, you as a woman, you never know how a person's going to respond. Like you said, mental health is real. So if you encounter an individual who might be unstable on top of it, bigger problem. So most women will comply enough to get that man out her face and then hope she can like block him or whatever later. I'm gonna be honest with you, Tal. I haven't taken the train in like a decade. Just don't do it. Before I had a car, it was just Uber everywhere. It might be a little bit more of an expense, but it was what I felt most comfortable with. And it's even worse now than it was when I stopped. But the other thing is, so two, you gotta arm her with an ability to defend herself. So make sure she walking with something to defend herself. If you got to get her, teach her how to
pepper
mace
spray.
that. And if a
All that
little
is illegal.
skill, a
She need a
little
knife.
1-2 shift maneuver so she could get up out of
it. It's
there.
illegal, but I could get it for her.
But yeah, all that is illegal.
Yeah, it is. And that's the problem with it. So that's
And I
why a
also
lot of
told-
women
but
take
the
defense
thing
things.
is,
But
what if they just harass her and don't touch her, then she's the aggressor. Police see that,
not
they can do
necessarily.
something.
Harassment is still a crime, first of all. And people get that confused. You don't have to physically, like
Yep.
domestic violence. I don't have to physically hit you for me to be abusing you.
Yep.
Right? If you are following me and I've made it clear that I am not interested in you, I don't want to be followed, I don't want you on my body, you're continuously, this is why order of protections and stuff like that can come into play without even, but I will say to your point, that is a problem with our system, because most of the time police don't respond or act until an escalation of violence,
Yep.
which is what makes people believe that it needs to go there before anything could even happen.
Right.
But I would definitely acknowledge that if she feels unsafe, support whatever goal she has to do what she needs to do right now to feel,
And get that car.
get that car, get that, you know what I'm saying? You might have to let her ride the Jeep once she get that license. You might have to hold it down.
It's not safe. You
not.
saw the other day though that those two girls.
That's what she said.
One girl
She
died
literally
and another
came
girl
here and
got
had an
shot for
anxiety
saying.
attack. She said
'cause
she came here and she hit the floor from anxiety because she had somewhere to go. She came home.
Yeah.
She said she didn't even feel like going. She's got on a train and came home.
And they killed that
After
girl
that,
because she
Literally.
was
that was what it was in her head. She said she was thinking about that.
Because that's real. I'm 39 now. So I grew up in a time, and I've always been very aggressive. And I was MAGA, skinny like this, and I've just always been very aggressive. I never had an issue telling a guy no. I never had an issue with fighting. If I had to fight a man, whatever. But it's not that time now where if you're aggressive and if you know how to fight, you can defend yourself, because they will take out a gun and shoot you or stab you. And it's very unfortunate. I haven't been in that situation for a very long time, but I think defense classes are very, very important. It's no longer an option. It's now a priority. Your daughter's older, but if you can get her into some sort of defense class, karate, mixed martial arts, whatever she's comfortable with doing. And it's not a matter of okay, this is for discipline or something for fun. This is literally to make sure that you are safe if, God forbid, you are in a situation where even if you do exchange numbers with the man, or if you're just not in the mood that day, which you have the right to not be in the mood, to entertain the bullshit and keep walking, and he attacks you, you can defend yourself. Pepper spray and mace is illegal, but unfortunately we're in a time where it's a necessity. I can hold my own physically, and I have pepper spray, I have mace, I have a pocket knife, and I'm professionally trained in fighting in certain arts and ways.
I wouldn't even want her to have to engage.
But you know what the other part is? That's why I always tell women to have a Google number that you don't use for anything. This might sound crazy, but I keep contact information that I can give out that's not gonna link.
That's not
back.
crazy.
And that's the reality. Because if I give him a number, it's a number to a Google Voice or something like that, or a text free, whatever, they have those.
Yeah.
I always keep one of those numbers because it's easier for them to think you're being compliant than the latter. The problem comes in though when it's happening in an area that you frequent.
Yes.
Right? So that works when it's a one-off. I give you this number, I might not see you again. But if this is a regular path that I travel, right? And now where you could potentially observe my habits, my behaviors, see, you know what I'm saying? That's where you run into a trickier situation.
Well, I got to do that now because I tell her, well, yeah, one of my friends on the corner, he told everybody, don't even speak to her. There ain't no reason for you to say nothing to Tahoe daughter. Y'all know that's Tahoe daughter, whatever. And she was like, they still be saying shit. They laugh, they snicker, they look, everything when I walk in there. So now I'm going to go around the corner. I'm going to wait. So I know everybody's out there. And we're going to have a real nigga conversation.
The problem with that, Tahoe, I'm sorry, and I got to say this because now...
No. We having a real nigga conversation. I done put in too much work around here. I done put in weight, and these niggas is not like that. I done put in way too much work around here. For me to be able to walk with my head up, and my daughter got to walk with her head down. That's not how we giving it up.
I don't disagree.
That's not how we giving it up.
But I'm saying that in general, it doesn't always...
Them niggas supposed to be those supposed to be the niggas that she know if anything happens, she could go right there. And you niggas is being predators? Because not one of you niggas gonna touch nothing. So what we talking about? That's gotta happen. She's gotta be able to know that she could run to that corner and them niggas are still outside. Well, I held it down. It's gonna make sure she good money.
Good.
Yeah.
That's real community.
That goes back to the principles though. Like you were just saying, a lot of that principle sometimes is like not even existent, but I agree with you.
That gotta happen.
She should feel safe in
happen.
her domain.
That's gotta. This is where she should know that no matter what, long as she get right here, she good money. She ain't gotta run to the house. She can get right here, and niggas gonna be like, "You all right?"
Yeah.
It's a very tricky situation too, because it's like we live in a society where a person could help a woman getting beat up in a Walmart and get killed, right, in front of his family. Like that stuff like that has happened.
Things like that do happen, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but and this is gonna sound very, very ignorant to some people, but I don't care. I'm a parent when it comes to protecting my kids before anything else. So I 100% agree with you, even if you didn't know that those niggas wasn't really about that. Even if they were about that, I'm very much I will die for mine, but I'm 100% killing for mine. That's just, and I mean that with every fiber within my being. It's not just us saying it to say it. Like, I will murder anybody and not think twice. I will bury anybody and not think, right. Like, I just.
And that's how, when she told me about it.
And that's your girl
I was like, where? Because I thought it was around here.
But that's what I was getting to when I wasn't telling you not to go to the corner. When I would stop you to say, Tahoe, that only deals with the problem at home base. My thing is,
very true.
She still needs to be armed to handle these situations, no matter where she is. Nuts, but in the meantime, do the things that you do that she feels that help support her and whatever makes her feel makes sense.
And I know that's.
But still, you're gonna have to make sure she knows how to defend herself. There, walking to your car ain't necessarily always the safest either.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a woman who drives her car. I'm by myself, 2 children in the back seat. Right. Constantly, always thinking about that. They might not even notice my 2 sons riding in the second row because they're watching me. You know, they see me getting into a car. I had a guy who was literally a fan.
I'm sorry. That was Zakila.
It's
my
okay,
bad.
bro. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
We already exchanging focus, so we gonna talk later.
Watch that ass and them titties. Like, damn, my nigga.
Sorry. No. I went to her page. I saw that bathing suit, so we gonna talk. Yeah. But anyway, what I was saying is like I even had a guy. He's a fan, like somebody who follows me. This happened literally this week on Monday. I'm taking my son in the morning to school. And on the way to school, if he's a little late and I know he's going to miss eating in school, I'll stop at like a Dunkin's. I was going to bake it, egg, and cheese, something like that. So I'm at the store, but they can't see my child in the back. This guy come out the car, going in the Dunkin'. He's like, I love you. I don't know. I have no context. But I'm like, okay, your love is appreciated. I keep pressing or whatever. And then he starts to make it aware. Oh, I follow you. Da-da-da. And I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. But it's, you know what time it is? So I'm walking to the car and he's still persistently approaching the car with me. It's not like he's staying back. As I'm going to my car, he's going to my car with me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so in that instant, my kid is right here. This guy's right here. early in the morning, and he's belligerently, yo, da 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 da, and I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that, sweetheart, you know, but I'm making a move. It wasn't until I got into my seat and reached back and passed my son his food that he realized. He was like, oh, your son is in the car. Oh, you know, my bad. Da, da, da. Thankfully, he was the kind of guy who gave a shit.
Because a lot of niggas won't.
They really don't. You know how many times I've
try to talk to you while you're with your kid.
While your kid is with you.
I don't remember when somebody told me that. It was years and years ago. It was over 10, 15 some years ago. You never want to do that when a woman is with her child. Ever. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say, I think I learned that maybe when I was younger, just for knowing how it felt when niggas would turn and look at my mom's ass, and I'd be turning around looking at him like, what you looking at?
My son was like that.
You know what I'm saying?
He's still like that now.
Stop looking at my mom.
So I literally won't even try to, if you with your kid, you off limits. I'm not even trying to do that with you because the child is having this experience too.
Yep. Yeah, but also it activates my mama bear because I'm at this point willing to be the sacrificial lamb in any event. But I'm also thinking if my child had to witness certain things happen to me, what would that do to my kid? Yeah. So now I have to think about my protection, that child's protection. So even in your daughter's situation, what I'm saying is equip her with something that helps her handle it all around, and like not just in her home, but like she said, self-defense, something like that, so she can feel a little safer, support her. But Daj was sitting here, and I know she feeling something.
Yeah,
and I want to hear, because
I know she knows
a mother
my kid,
and a teacher.
But she's also had this experience as well. She's been that age. So I can't. I know you know how I felt.
Hell fucking yeah. I
but
was developed at 15.
It's crazy because we started this podcast together 5 years ago. We've been having the same conversation, and we used to go back and forth about these things.
I'm triggered.
I can tell. So, I've been watching you this whole time. I could tell
easily, and people have different responses to trauma. Like I think we all got triggered the moment he said what happened.
My trigger is different because years ago on this podcast we argued about this. Argued down. And I'm like, yo, I've had experiences being followed. I've had experiences when niggas jumped the curb, followed me in cars. I, to this day, do not get on the train past 8 o'clock. It even triggers me having to take the train to come here every week. I be constantly triggered. And I feel like, and it's not directed towards you, so I don't want you to...
No, but you're right.
I don't want you to take it personally. But I say all the time that niggas don't give a fuck until it happened to their kid.
They don't.
And I feel like I've been arguing about this on this podcast for so many years, and it's been minimized only because you love me and you fuck with me. So I feel like you feel me, but I feel like now you feel me. But I also don't want it to come across like that, because I don't want it to be like, damn, it had to happen to her for people to understand. But I feel like I've been talking about this same shit for years. That harassment is harassment. The minute that I don't engage with you, it's harassment. If you keep talking, if you keep walking. And I also feel like we're minimizing the roles of men, grown-ass people, by talking about mental health. These niggas are not mentally ill. They are emboldened. They are like, it's beyond disrespect.
No, that's true.
It's not even disrespect. Right. It's literally the fact that niggas walk around like they can do whatever, say whatever, however. Just the simplest thing, when you walk down the street and a nigga tell you to smile. For what, bitch? Like, for what? Smile for what? Like, oh, let me get your, like, why? Like, niggas think because that they're like God's greatest gift to the world because they were born with a dick, they get to have and take whatever the fuck they want to. And I don't like that shit. And this shit really pisses me off. And it pisses me off that it happened to her, because that is the teacher and the mother in me, because I really want to go smack the shit out of a lot of people. But on the flip side of that, even when I walked past that corner, and I know she's talking about the one right here on No String.
Down the block. Because I just came, I went through that the other day and today.
I walked down that block.
All of us went on that corner.
Fucking week. And every fucking week I hear niggas say like, oh, that's Tahoe homegirl. But y'all doing too much. So if I spaz on this corner, it's like, damn, they're gonna be like, yo, your homegirl spazzed on me. But why did I spaz on you?
Yeah.
Why in the summertime when I'm coming here, it's always something. It's always the nigga in the fucking t-shirts got something to say. If you not saying, yo, what up, sis, how you doing? Don't fucking talk to me. But now I'm the fucking problem, right? Like when I walk around and I be angry at niggas, it's for shit like this. Because that shit is not okay.
But hold on. Let me explain something. For one, I want to say, I receive what you're saying and understand how you feel.
Damn, I need another drink.
And it ain't number low sip, right?
I don't got nothing left. I need a woosah in this
There's all types of stuff in there, but let me explain one thing. For the same amount of time that you've been speaking on this, I've said that a woman goes down the block and 100 niggas talk to her every day.
Every time.
Every
it's more
day.
Than that, and it's more than that.
Right.
It's more than that. Every
So
day.
it's
every corner. It's in the summertime. It's car after car after car after car. That's why I had to get the fuck up out of here. I do not experience this shit in Jersey. And Drew will say I don't experience it in Jersey because I don't live in a hood. But I don't live in the suburbs. I still live in an urban-ish area. And this is something I don't experience. I can get on the PATH train, the New Jersey Transit, and be good. The minute I cross into New York City, there's a nigga coming. When I'm coming out the train station, there's a nigga in my face.
And they're
you know how many, like, do you know what that does to somebody's mental, that you have to pretend to not hear, pretend to not see, just so you can go from point A to point B safely? I have to actively pretend to not hear somebody saying something to me, whether it's respectful, disrespectful, whatever. And I'm a type of bitch that if I like somebody, I'm gonna shoot my shot. You never have to shoot with me.
Ever. You don't gotta
You never gotta come talk to me. And if I give them the attitude they deserve, I'm in danger. Literal danger. I've had niggas throw glass bottles across the street at me for trying to, what's the concept, right, of a nigga?
Yo.
If I'm on this side of the street and you yelling at me from that side of the street, how did you expect this to play out in your head? Was I supposed to cross the street?
Yeah.
Was I supposed to wait for you to cross the street?
No.
Like, what is the logic? Like, niggas are so emboldened and they never get held accountable for their behavior because, I never touched you. I never physically did anything to you. Fuck the emotional impact that it has on you. I didn't do anything. I didn't grab you. I didn't touch you. All I did was ask you for your number and walk next to you for 45 minutes. That's all I did. There's nothing that's gonna happen to that person, unfortunately. And unfortunately, that person that did that to your daughter, nothing is gonna happen to him. He's gonna do that shit to somebody else's daughter and somebody else's mother and somebody else's daughter and somebody else's daughter. This is not a mental health issue. Niggas are not raising their sons, and these little boys, they think that they can do whatever, take whatever, say whatever, and it's okay. And it trickles down to the older niggas, the stupid niggas, because they see the little boys getting away with shit that they was not able to get away with. So if you grew up and now you in your 40s and you a fucking loser, now you want to do what the little niggas is doing because they get away with it. So now I'm gonna do it too. This shit is crazy. You as a woman literally cannot go from point A to point B safely in your own thoughts and your own spirit and your own anything without having to be accosted by niggas. And this is why I go crazy at niggas when they come at me on the internet.
Same.
This is exactly why, because I'm not taking disrespect in no way. You're not gonna call me out my name in the comments, and you're not gonna sit there and run up on me in the streets. I don't like niggas. I'm sorry. And I try every day. I try to black boy joy. I try to black king this, respect black. I try, but it's too many of you niggas that are fucking trash. It's too many of you niggas that need to go to war. It's too many of y'all niggas that need to be wiped off the face of the earth, and I don't fucking care.
And I just want to interject because no, it's not crazy.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy because I led with the perspective of it's your daughter and she's young and I have a daughter, so how do we protect her? But listening to everything that you've said, it just brings back memories.
I don't know. I was literally
I have
that
goosebumps.
just happened to me.
I have goosebumps.
That's why I have
goosebumps, and it's bringing back memories. Like I had a gun pulled on me because I pulled my hand away from a nigga. I've had bottles thrown at me, like you said. I've been spit on. I've had gum spit in my hair. I've had niggas spit in my face. Like, don't get me wrong. I've gotten into fist fights because, like I said, I've always been aggressive. But it's like, but why? I'm the same woman that you was just trying to bag, and now I'm fist fighting you because you disrespected me because you couldn't bag me.
So the funny thing about what you're saying is that when she was talking, I started thinking about how young was I when I first started experiencing
Probably
it.
a child.
Because
A
you were
child.
talking about your daughter, and she's at the age where she's able to get a driver's license and X, Y, and Z. But I was like, damn, was it even that old for
No,
me?
it
Because
starts as a little girl.
I think I was a tomboy as a kid because I
Same.
used to fight boys.
Same.
Because my first experience was age 10. As soon as my ass and titties started coming in, because
over.
I developed very early. That was it. I used to have to stop defending. They used to play touch and and I gotta hit you. Then later on, I thought about it. I recall being 14, 15 in the summertime. You know how people used to have summer youth jobs. I had a job at one of those sites or whatever the case is. Walking uptown at 14 years old, but with the body of an 18, 19-year-old girl. Right,
But the
and
face
the long
is
ass,
always telling
the
you,
child
always
face,
telling the
right?
face, and they don't
long
give a
ass,
fuck about
remember
it.
we used to
Don't give a
have the
fuck.
season with tunic skirts when they used to
Yeah.
have the long,
Yeah.
wearing long tunic skirts, fully covered and everything, but literally being aggressively came after as a young girl by grown ass men. We're not talking about boys my
No.
age.
Yep.
We're talking about grown
Grown-
ass
it's
men,
always
20s,
grown men.
30s, whatever. So now I'm thinking as a grown woman. That was walking up a block. I can't get out my car in front of a store, walk into a store, back to my car. Like, we're not talking about no, and just that one strip of walk, I know that I'm gonna have to fend off. So I have to look. That's why I DoorDash every fucking thing half the time, because I don't want to be in spaces where I'm gonna have to be subject to it. That's why I'll pay for parking if it means I ain't gotta walk far. I need to be as close to my location of where I'm going. And when I walk the fuck out of there, I need to be able to calculate how long it's going to take for me to get from where I'm at back to my car.
It's
in the
mental
close.
gymnastics
It's a mental
that
thing.
you
And
have to
until
do.
she said it just now, I don't think I even realized how much psychologically I plan around avoiding men.
And
I
nobody
do.
thinks, and
Until
nobody
she
ever
said it
thinks
just
about
now.
that. And there's two things that I want to say. The first part is because I know when you guys cut it up and clip it up. And,
I don't give a fuck.
No, you shouldn't give a fuck. And I know there's gonna be a clip of you going off, and I think that's gonna be a dope ass clip.
I think it's a.
And I know that there's gonna be
necessary one.
niggas in the comments and pick me too, and that's a whole nother conversation for these pick me ass bitches that be defending these trash ass niggas. But whatever, trying to eat you up. And what people have to understand is you gotta think about where all that passion and all that negative feelings towards men is coming from. Because I say all the time, I don't like men and I don't respect men. There are a few men in between that I fuck with, but as a collective, fuck you niggas. So if you have passionately, so if you're a man and I have respect for you, you should be very, 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 very grateful for that. The second part of what I'm gonna say is gonna sound crazy, and I stand on it, and I've been saying this my whole fucking life. Cause y'all had bodies when y'all was younger. I was a stick figure. Like, I didn't have no ass, I didn't have no titties. Like, I didn't get my period until I was turning 15, so I was very underdeveloped. My hair was natural and 2 curly pom-poms, and grown ass men was after me. Tahoe, I'm sorry in advance, but I really genuinely feel like there is something innately within men that is like,
Oh, we sorry.
like
I agree
fucking
with you.
pedophiles, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, why y'all so fucking
know.
attracted to these little fucking girls?
The worst part
And-
about it is they call us now. They say we sexualize ourselves.
The adultification of young black
what
girls.
we're not going to talk about is how if I'm 14 years old responding to the cat calls of grown ass men, you sexualize me then. Now you mad because I'm taking charge of my sexuality.
How that make sense?
That shit
How that make sense?
Yo.
And then this is a whole nother topic, but that segues into you're being attacked and accosted and approached by men on a regular basis, and these are the men that's not even getting close to you. These are strangers.
Yeah.
The men in your fucking life that are molesting you, that are
Family
raping
members,
you.
'cause I've been-
It's always family members
Trigger warning.
or men
Trigger
close to, or
warning.
men
Yep.
that's close to the family, and they taking advantage of you at very young age. I was molested at I was 5 when my sister was born, and she wasn't born yet, so I was like 3.5 or 4, and I remember that shit vividly. And now because you woke up my sexuality at such a young age, touching me in places, and I'm a little kid, I don't know that's wrong. So to me, that shit feel good. So now I'm sexualized, and I'm not promiscuous yet, or even sexually engaged, but like I want to touch and feel
So,
certain
and you
things.
know what that
and
is.
now it's a problem
It's a
on me.
problem.
Now it's a
Yep.
problem on me. I'm sexual. I'm sexualized. I'm carrying myself a certain way. I entice this. I entice that. Why she walk this way? Why she look this way?
Why she dressed that way? Why she do this? Why she shake her ass? Why she that?
But there's no accountability
conversation for the
men.
Yep. You know,
Never.
so I'll tell you this. In my career, right? You're the client I deal with the most. You and the woman who comes to me who says, I just want to be as confident as you. But then when I talk to that client and we break it down, she's also the same woman, right? So things people don't realize about trauma and responses to shit like what you were just speaking about is either people come out of that hyposexual or hypersexual.
Yeah.
Hypo meaning they refrain. Like, because I've been witnessed and subjected to this, I'm more cautious and I stay further away from it, right? Then you have the reverse results of it, where because you sexualize me by doing X, Y, and Z to me or in front of me or exposed to, now I'm not only more curious, but now I'm overly sexual, right? Because what you just said, the confusion, what you're doing to me felt good, right? A woman who can get raped and be confused because physically her body responded positively, even though mentally and psychologically she knew it wasn't. Right. So the part of that plays into what happens when you start to deal with situations where you're looking over your shoulders, is that you don't recognize how many other contributing factors are also going into that response, right? And then what you said about they think because they ain't touch you, right? Well, my first experience of sexual assault was a relative making me watch them beat their dick. Didn't make me put hands on them. I thought there was nothing wrong with it. As a kid, well, he didn't touch me, right? But that's the first layer. The next time, I literally volunteered myself so that my sister didn't get touched, right? No, fuck me instead, right? So then you got to think about the many choices, like we just spoke about that. Now how that correlates to being a mother, right? Willing to sacrifice your safety for the same of yourself. So I think when we have this conversation, y'all hear the anger, you hear the hurt, you hear the pain, you hear the trigger. But as Black women, what you got to realize is that 1 in 4 of us are already sexually assaulted before the age of 18. That is a statistic. You can look it up. It is a fact. 1 in 4 Black women have been sexually assaulted before they even turned 18.
And that's not accurate. I'm going to tell you
why
it's not accurate
more.
Because there's so many that's not even saying anything.
And then there's so many who don't have a father like you who's willing to go to the corner and get at the niggas on the block, right? So how many of us are daughters, right, of just single mothers? Now my mom is just as in danger as me, going out there to be like, y'all stay the fuck away from my baby. But now both of us is, you know what I'm saying? So the bottom line all together is there needs to be a greater awareness of why we feel the way we feel. I'm not a woman who hates men. I'm gonna be honest. I grew up in a patriarch household with very positive men. Right? I had a great grandfather, I had great uncles, so my initial association with men is not negative. I'm a mother, I have sons. So to a degree, I gotta love a little bit of testosterone, right? But on the flip side of it, like she said, you start to sort. There's only a certain number of men who you give that. And I also recognize that I naturally respond kindly to men to avoid those kind of problems. I'd rather, when you say this and that, be like, whatever, right? And try to politely decline if I am going to, as a safety precaution. But why do I even have to, is the question. Somebody said on the Zoom chat, like, oh, I have to put my headphones in to pretend like I'm not listening. Cause the headphones be in, but ain't a motherfucking thing playing. When I used to be young, I could put my music on blast and walk. You can't do that now. You cannot do that now. My headphones is in as a distraction because I can't listen to anything and not be aware of what's happening around me in this day and age, especially like you said in New York City. So I'm sorry. I know we said a lot, Tahoe, and a lot came out there, and I feel like you was in the middle of saying something in response after she spoke, and then you didn't finish it, and I really want to hear it because I saw a lot of emotion come out of you too, right?
I mean, I don't really know what to say. I mean, like, so as a father, I'm not supposed to, like, I'm listening to y'all and I hear y'all. Okay, so this is my daughter now. I'm not supposed to, like, I don't know where I don't do that. Like, I hear y'all. I've always said that when a woman walks to the train station, 100 niggas say something to her. But somehow, now that it's my daughter, like, it's like I know it's not me, but
no, it's not you. That's what I'm saying. I specifically said it's not you, but that's how I feel about like, men sometimes when it happens.
Can I finish my statement?
Go ahead.
What am I supposed to do about this? Like, I don't
turn up. Do whatever you want to do.
What? I can't. I want to change. I want to help. I don't know what to do. I'm sitting here as y'all are talking.
I think you're doing something thinking, right now.
As I'm talking,
but I'm having this conversation on this platform.
As I'm speaking, I'm thinking about when I'm standing around niggas. I'm thinking about one of my friends saying, "Good morning, beautiful." Yes, I can tell him like, "Yo, bro, 70 other niggas just say good morning, beautiful."
Embarrass that nigga.
Like, yo, what is that doing? You're not walking up next to her. I can do that. But isn't this a larger problem? Like, why do we as men do that?
It is.
And then where does it start and where does it end?
Because
what's the psychology between? Because then men are gonna be like, yo, I was just trying to talk to her. How else do we fuck with chicks? Like, that's how you talk to chicks. Like, how do I enact change? How do I start? How do I plant the seed? I don't know, because I don't even know where I got this shit from. I remember being with my dad. The few times I remember being around my dad, that I remember driving with him, I want to say down Flatbush Junction or some shit, and he did like this and like turned and looked, and I'm looking like, well, what are we looking at? Because I didn't realize what ass was at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I seen him do it, but over a course of time, I started doing it. So this shit is, I don't know.
It's learned behavior.
It's learned behavior.
It is learned.
But that's what
where
it
do you
all
break
is.
that cycle at?
Well,
How do
that's
you break
nature
the
versus
cycle?
nurture, period. That's what that whole thing supports. I think there's so many layers to it. The problem with it is, Tahoe, you could be the guy who wants to talk to these guys. The problem is, out of 100 men, only 4 are listening, right? So that's the first problem. You're not reaching them that way because most guys are not even open to that correction. But I think the other piece of it, and the greater piece of it, because we can't even call it a lack of awareness. It's been said enough, or whatever the case is. Not a lot of them got mental health issues, but a lot of those niggas got their own shit that they've been experiencing from young. And the difference between men and women largely is that when you talk about the conversation of therapy, we tend to be more proactive about doing the work to heal from the traumas that we've experienced. Men not only don't proactively do that, they don't even have safe spaces amongst each other to do it. We can be like, girl, this happened to me, da-da-da-da, and we will support each other. Until men start normalizing having those conversations to unpack it and then proactively taking steps to see professionals when necessary, we're going to continue to see this problem. Because that's what it really comes down to.
Let me tell y'all something. Daj, you said something during your,
rant.
Whatever the fuck
It was
that
a
was.
rant. It was an explosive
You was like,
rant.
yo, why do y'all yell across the street? Why do y'all do this? What? Because they know they're not going to be successful. A nigga that get women doesn't do that. He knows, he looks at her, he knows how to make his play. He's gonna walk up to her, you look really nice today. He knows, because he can actually succeed at this venture.
Right.
The niggas that can't just want something.
But you got to
They just want to
recognize.
be noticed.
And that's the
they're
problem.
used to the rejection. So
They're used to it.
They're willing to
Up
do
it.
it
They
to
have
100
nothing to
women.
lose. Yeah, they have nothing
with
to
the
lose.
notion that 1 or 2 might say yes. So it's like I got
was with
10
a
pair
nigga
of
the other
sneakers to
day,
sell.
and then he said good morning, beautiful, or whatever, and she said good morning back. And I was on the phone or something at the time, and so I kind of heard her. So I was looking, and I looked. I was like, "Oh yeah, she got a fatty." He was like, "Yeah, she said good morning. She with it."
No,
And I'm
she's
like,
not with it, my nigga. Why can't men
I'm like,
understand?
Niggas are not
In my head,
okay.
it
It's not
sounds like-
okay.
I just had this conversation with my
Yo,
boyfriend.
niggas are
you
not
were just
okay.
talking about this.
You can't be polite.
Yes,
to those
I
niggas.
can't even,
because that's
you
an
can't even
open
say,
door.
"Hey, how you doing?" I say, "I'm good.
I'm good. How are you?"
And then immediately that means
She
she's
wants this
interested.
dick. She want all this dick. Actually, nigga, I don't want anything.
I don't want any. All I want to do is go from point A to point B by myself. Like I walked out here by myself. I wanted to do. Maybe I just want to finish listening to this audiobook. I just want to listen to this podcast.
But you know,
like I don't.
we're gonna talk about the stat. April is actually sexual assault awareness month, so it's ironic that we having this. But the statistic on men is 1 in 5. Right?
Dead ass.
Right. So let's talk about that on the other side. We're not going to talk about the fact that 9 times out of 10, when a young man is introduced to sex in an inappropriate way, is usually by women who are in charge
Much
of care
older.
of them,
Yep,
much
and
older
much
than
older.
them. It's why. And then if that young guy goes to his male counterparts and
They gonna
like, let's
zap
just
that
say
nigga
he's
up.
like, let's just say he like 11, 12, and he go to his 17-year-old brother and be like, yo, the baby's da 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 da. They're gonna say, yo, man, they gonna encourage it, right?
Yep.
So then there's a problem where we have, but like I said, the biggest disconnect is we go through these things, we seek help. They go through those things. Not only do they not seek help, they 9 times out of 10 go through their whole life without saying anything. I have a client of mine who came to me at 42. He came to me after he caught a case, right? Reason he caught a case is because he was in bed with his sexual partner, and that was his girl that he was dealing with at the time, and she did something during sex that someone did to him when he was young, right? And he got triggered, kicked the shit out of her, and ended up with an assault case because her jaw was fractured in the process from the force that he hit her with, right? But now he's over here defending himself because a sexual thing happened to him that triggered him because of a trauma he never dealt with as a kid. Right. So unhealed trauma doesn't dissolve. There's a part of your brain that literally will tuck the memory away as a defense mechanism. When people say their memory is bad, 9 times out of 10, it's not that your memory is bad. It's that in the process of hiding the bad memories, the good memories also get tucked as well. And they don't get surfaced until we have a trigger. So the problem is until men proactively start admitting shit that happened to them and admit that they're not too big, mighty, and strong to say, yo, I've been hurt and I need help, we're gonna keep having this problem. Right?
I want to say this, Daj. I know you have something to say. My response to this is largely fueled by guilt. I want you because I'm gonna say I'm currently part of the problem, but I've done this, and it's unfortunate for me to say. I know it's the culture. Like that's how we do things. That's how we are. I've been there. I've seen it. I haven't stopped it. I'm part of the problem by just being a part of it. And so, yes, I came here with this to have this conversation, just to give y'all that. You know, I knew I was gonna be here with 3 women. I knew I wasn't gonna have charm to protect or shield me. You know what I mean? I knew that I was giving y'all a platform to speak on y'all experiences. And so by saying, "Yo, I know I didn't do it," whatever, I want to take that back and say that I realize most of us men are part of the problem because even if we aren't the ones doing it, we're allowing it. We're laughing.
Especially when y'all supposed to be our protectors.
You know
and especially when the very individuals that are supposed to be the ones that we look to protection are the ones that we need to be protected from. That is the biggest part of the problem. I love black men. Let me be straight. You know what I'm saying? It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. There's no other. I'm angry, but that anger is the secondary feeling. It hurts me that these are the men that look like me, right? Who I work to fiercely so hard, want to understand, want to hear, want to this. But in the reverse, I'm not receiving the same effort from a man. Most men are not working that hard to understand me in the way I'm trying to understand your plight. I don't know what it is to be a black man walking out and have to look left and right every time a cop walk by. Not because I'm a criminal, but because they're going to naturally choose to look at me a certain way because I'm a man. But are men doing the same thing for us? Because at the end of the day, I should be able to run to the corner to a stranger of black, a bunch of strangers of black men on the corner and say, somebody is following me and I don't have to know those men and they should still be like, yo, what's up?
What's good, my nigga?
But no, bitch, I don't know you.
And I want to
That's your problem.
I want to touch on 2 things because you said that you've been a part of the problem and you feel guilty, and I understand and I respect that and I receive it. And that's why earlier when you was like, well, what should I do? And I said, embarrass that nigga, because unfortunately, most men, the majority of men, do not hold other men accountable, especially if it's their boy, especially if it's family. Even if they feel dirty and cringy, they still hold it down and don't say anything. And that's fucked up. And I always go back to this, and I don't feel bad, but I feel like I've matured and grown so much, so I hate when I have to say this, but it's unfortunate most people don't respect anything other than disrespect and violence. And most women aren't going to be as aggressive or as feisty or have the height and the stature that we have to defend themselves. But like disrespect and violence is what most people respond to. And then secondly, what I want to say is we're talking about, you know, black men and men in general, but you know, of course we're black women, so we're talking about black men and being protected by black men. And I want to make this very, very, very clear. It's not just black men. It ain't. My background is in corporate America. I worked in finance and financial services.
They're worse.
The biggest, listen, the biggest.
Where do you think black men learned it from?
Listen,
they're worse.
The biggest
They
banks,
just have privilege.
Exactly. You said it. The biggest banks and hedge funds have been my clients. And as a black woman in a white man and a predominantly white male industry,
nasty.
Listen, the way I was spoken to, the way I was engaged with, the way I was touched unprovoked, nobody is more entitled and more disrespectful than a white man with some money and some fucking power. And black men cannot even fucking compare. Like they don't even you could call out to me in Mexico, Tahoe, and disrespect me and say whatever you want to me 1,000,000 times before I let one of them fucking before I go back to corporate America to let any of those white men talk to me and treat me the way that they spoke to me and treated me. And it's crazy because I'm a black woman in your space. So if you apply common sense as a black woman that is 20 years younger than y'all in y'all space. Clearly, I'm smarter and I'm better than all of you because my father's not in the country club.
Yep.
He didn't pledge the fraternity. I got here because I bust my fucking ass. So how fucking dare you think that you could grab my ass or try to pinch my titty or tell me about what fucking dream you had about me as a dominatrix or tell me, oh, you belong in a kitchen barefoot and naked. What you doing at this meeting? What you doing? Like, how fucking dare you going to strip clubs and sales meetings and watching how these niggas deal with these women and how they want to fucking talk to you after they snort they fucking coke. And there's nothing more disgusting than a white man with power. Nothing more disgusting. And I want to say that because the audience is majority black, and yes, we're talking about men and the fact that they aren't doing as much work and they should be protecting us versus assaulting us. But I do want to also say that it's not just black men. And when you, in the grand scheme of men, y'all are light work.
Yep.
I'll take
and that's what I'll
take
say.
y'all any day,
and that's why you can
day.
appreciate them so much more when you come across men who are like you, Tahoe. Because at the end of the day, no one is without flaws, right?
Absolutely.
It's about the ability to recognize even a conversation that she's been fighting with you on this and that, and until it became your experience, you maybe couldn't relate, right? You're still on another end of the spectrum, but now you have an attachment to the same thing that she was triggered by, and so now your perspective changes. And I'll tell you this. As a special needs mom, that's the most beautiful thing I've gotten out of raising that child, is that I'm forced every day to stop thinking of how I think and ask myself, how do they think? So that's why I've adapted that thought with men. Like in general, I can't ever know what it is to be my son, but I can stop and ask myself, well, how did he see it? So that's what I applied in my relationship with my partner. I applied in my relationships with my friends, even my girls, because sometimes some bitches be pissing me off. One of them got me pissed off right now, but I'm like, okay, maybe it was her. But what you just said, what she just said, was when we were in Mexico earlier this year, I experienced that firsthand. Not only was he a white dude with privilege, right? He came up to me in the pool and shit. We all dancing. It's a white party and da-da-da. And he's saying something to me and my response is like da-da-da. And he was like, oh, you must not be into tractors. I'm like, nigga, do I look like I'm somebody into tractors? But I'm going to tell you what this man did. Right? After he tried to push up on me in that pool or whatever. The good thing about being in the pool was I was surrounded by all of us. I leave to go to my room. Now we in a different area, right? So now I'm walking the pathway to my room, and I'm not even realizing this guy is staying in the exact same block as me. So I'm now realizing once I get over there, this is not the first time he saw me was not in the pool.
Yep.
He knew I stayed in that block because when I bent that corner, he was standing there.
Wow.
Talking about how fat my ass is and da-da-da-da, and he's a big time dude who does the shit with tractors on YouTube, millions of followers and da-da-da-da.
Nigga, I'll slit your throat right here. Don't fucking play with me.
So now it's just me and this man in this hall. My room is right there, and he's standing at this staircase that I cannot get to my room without passing. And so you have to make a decisive decision in that moment. So I'm playful. Oh, you got to share me your YouTube. Da-da-da-da. I don't know nothing about it, but maybe I could get interested in it. Da-da-da-da. See what you got going on. Whatever. Oh, let's exchange social media so I can go and check it out. And then, I'll be here for a little while. I'll catch you at some point. And I had to call somebody. I called one of my friends to walk to my room. So when I left, I'm not leaving alone. Because now I know this guy knows where I'm sleeping.
You know what's the sad part? Think about how many times you've been in those type of situations in your lifetime.
Nigga.
And that's the saddest part. And like y'all said, it starts as little girls. Since I was 11, and I'm not exaggerating, I had no body. Like there was no body. There was no curve. There was nothing. I was a stick. I can't even count on my fingers and my toes the amount of times I've been in situations like that, and I know you can't, and I know you can't, and that's crazy. That is crazy.
For me, I know. Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say that when we're talking about triggers and things that trigger you, I am triggered by male aggression. That is my biggest trigger. It's not a sexual entity. It is that understanding of knowing that you're bigger than me, you're stronger than me. I probably can't beat you in a fight, and that's what scares me. And being able to see in my past and my family how men can get angry and get aggressive and yell and scream and do certain things and behave in certain manners. That is my trigger. So it's like don't fucking talk to me. Like, so then my natural reaction is nasty. Like I don't have that. And that makes me scared for me also, because I don't have I'm gonna pleasant play it off. It's very much fuck out of my face. And that's scary to me, because I know I am cognizant of how dangerous that reaction is.
Yeah, where that
but I also understand that I cannot smile in the face of somebody that I feel like is gonna wishing me harm in one way or another. Right. I'm too cognizant of the potential of what a man can possibly do to me physically or sexually, to the point that I don't even want you to think for one, I'm not gonna smile, I'm not gonna bat an eye, and that is dangerous. But I know that about me, and that's why I stay away from certain places. That's why I've been able to be safe for 34 years. I don't go nowhere if my brothers is not there. I don't go certain places without my nigga being available. Like there, I just don't. I'm not gonna gamble because my mouth is crazy. I'm not gonna gamble because I'm not gonna do anything to feed your ego. That's why you're always gonna get a suck my dick out of me. And it's not something that I carry through my day. Right. It's not something that I'm taking personal. I just want you to know, don't fucking play with me. I don't care if it's an internet. I don't care if we in front of each other's faces. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna LOL you. I'm not gonna don't fucking play with me, bitch. Go play with your mother. And it's not, and it comes off crazy, and I know it does, and I'm very aware. I went to therapy every Friday for 3 years, and the last thing my therapist told me every Friday for 3 years, keep your hands in your pockets. Keep your hands in. Tahoe watched me almost beat a nigga up pregnant at the Barclays because he was doing too much. He was drunk, he was aggressive, and he was in my space. And Tahoe was like, yo, you're wilding, you're pregnant. Why would you react? I don't fucking play with none of these people.
Would make you react.
I want to say this.
But you're pregnant. I want to say this. Your pregnancy made it even worse. It elevated that response.
I want to say this. For some time now, I think that I've owned being a higher vibrational nigga. Mm-hmm. Like I just kind of like, yo, I'm not gonna do that to this woman. I'm not gonna do that to this woman. I see the effect. I've done it with gay people, I've done it with trans people, I've done it with black women especially. Every day. There's something in me that says, ooh, I want to, and then I go, that's probably not a good idea. Mm-hmm. To the men that listen to this podcast, there is an effect we can have on our community, on the people we interact with every day. We might not be able to change the world by our own one thing, but we can speak to the guys around us. We can talk to our children. We can make sure that even, in the Heart of Soft Discord, they said, how do you protect black women? I said, I leave them alone. I leave them alone.
Leave them alone is
like
hilarious.
I literally make sure that they don't feel harassed by me. Like when they gonna go past me, I walk by their way. I seen a video of a dude walking behind a woman, and he was like, make sure he shake his keys so that he don't like just walk up on her and she feel like, cross the street. You know what I'm saying? I constantly, every single day, do things to say, you know what? Let me leave her alone. Mm-hmm. Let me make sure that she don't feel threatened by me. Do that. Make sure that your friends know that. Yo, I'm swear to God, next time I'm standing there and my man is like, good morning, I'm like, oh, bro, 7,000 niggas just said good morning.
But you know what the problem is? It's not even necessarily like, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Right. And then it's also, are you aware of when you need to stop? Because it's not that women necessarily hate that a man is approaching you. We live in a world, how you meet people. You approach them. If a guy's saying, good morning, beautiful, and I say, good morning, how are you?
But if you're going to approach her, actually have some G with it. Actually, she can appreciate
but even if you're not trying to holler, but I'm saying if I say, good morning back to you, don't take that as yes. It doesn't have to become an advance. Or if you feel interested in me and you say to me, you look very beautiful this morning, can I talk to you for a moment? And I say to you, I'm not available. Respect that response. It's not that we don't want you to talk to us. That's not the problem. It's how you're talking to us, how you approach us, and the aggression that Daj just said. It's the aggression, and you don't know what a person's experience has been. I've survived domestic violence. I've survived sexual assault. So don't roll up on me, bro. Right, but I'm not traumatized.
Well,
so I think that's what it is.
That as men, we have our own experience on this planet. It is vastly different than a woman's experience, and we don't really be understanding. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the different experiences men have in pregnancy and the experience versus the experience that women have in pregnancy and the disconnect in that. That's going to be another interesting conversation. Sorry if it's a little too heavy this week, but
Real life shit.
It's the shit that gotta be talked about.
that's where we are today. You already know. If you want to listen to that right now, go to patreon.com/ or / the So Shameless Podcast. Sorry, I've been saying / so long, and apparently it's not backslash. It's forward slash. I didn't know. But you guys are way smarter than me, so figure it out. Patreon.com, whichever / it is, So Shameless Podcast, to hear it right now, or we'll see you tomorrow. I need a
Tahoe,
I need a drink. Welcome back to So Shameless, guys. It's been an interesting week. I want to let y'all know, as a man, I've realized the best retort, the best response, the best tool in a relationship is saying, okay. It's so much easier. It's so much easier just going, okay.
Even with men too.
Like, all of that back and forth and the stress. Okay. Then she got an attitude. Then she's trying to convince me, gaslight me, prove to me.
Gaslight you.
I don't. No, it's this is literally how I deal with women, period.
Gotcha.
At this point, okay.
That was crazy.
I don't have time to argue or to do this. I will know that my feelings matter and that I'm right. But it gets me the wrong reaction when I try to prove it. I don't want to prove it no more. I don't care. Okay. You got it.
Tahoe, man.
That's why I mean.
Okay. 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 It's been a long week, man.
Like, bitch, you reach your level scared.
Nigga said your reach was hovering. That shit
I swear to you.
crazy.
She's choking. Where the water at?
Look,
Madison's full
thank you,
circle for
Jesus.
real.
That's on you. That's on you, my man.
That's crazy.
I dad got a Poland Spring in my bag. Too.
My man.
That's crazy.
I would have asked permission for your Poland Spring,
Thank
just
you.
like I asked you permission for the fruit, ladies.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But Tahoe, I asked you just now for the cantaloupe, man. Thank you so much
You
for your
did.
fruit, King.
we love you, King.
We love you, King.
Now that's a gaslight.
Your Highness,
This has been
we're so lucky to be in your presence.
This has
Great
been
morning.
an interesting week already.
That's what I do to my man. I'm
All right,
sorry,
y'all.
Tahoe.
Simmer
Let us
down.
finish the laugh. Wait,
Simmer down.
that shit was too perfect.
And I gave them more liquor.
Cause you're a good man.
Are you good?
That's what I do to my boyfriend. I'd be like, is there anything else I can get for you, honey? I live to serve you.
And I mean it. I mean it in my soul when I say
You got
stuff
that
like
voice.
I do that all the time.
I love that.
I go, sweetheart, is there anything else? Do you need me to rub your leg? And he'd be like, stop doing that shit. I'm like, you seem hungry. Would you like a steak?
Do you want to just come to my house just for like a weekend?
And do what?
What we doing?
I just want you to be around me and talk to me like that.
Oh.
Sure.
It makes me
I
me
can talk
happy
to you
on
like that for the
inside.
rest of this episode.
Oh yeah,
Why are you rubbing on yourself right now? What is wrong? Are you okay?
Because I'm gay.
But this is so shameless.
What?
And we ain't got no shame in our shit right now.
Podcast, my bad.
Sorry,
Kasha
Tahoe.
has been on Hard or Soft very many times. I think she's probably the most featured guest that we've had. Also has the most responses on the internet from our videos.
I love that.
I love that too.
She actually responded to a video I did this week. And I don't know, do you want me to play your response or can you do the response over in person?
I mean, I could do it in person, but I'm comfortable either way.
All right, so I'm going to play a video that I did this weekend. And then I'll play the response or
Okay.
okay?
That works.
'Cause I
The,
didn't
the
see it.
response is about 5 minutes long.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
but it's really good.
It's like
Okay.
4 minutes long.
Okay.
I got
so
the time. Let's go.
Here is the initial video.
Why is it that so many couples break up the minute Shorty gets pregnant or like the year or two after she has a baby? Of course, the women are going to say because men are this and men are that.
Men are this
And
and
I
that.
understand that because once the man leaves, she's left with the baby and she has to fend for herself. And she believed the relationship was going to work. She feels abandoned. She feels betrayed. But what if I told y'all
That's the
that
part that got me in trouble.
he might have felt that way too? See, I have a theory that if either the man or the woman or both are not prepared for the change that happens within a woman when she gets pregnant, then it's possible that the man can start to feel like a third wheel in his relationship. A lot of times, the changes that happen in a woman when she's pregnant literally happen overnight, and she doesn't even know she's doing it. She changes the way she walks, the way she eats, the way she thinks, the environment she's around. She changes the way she sleeps. So it makes sense that the energy that she's able to pour into her relationship might change too. This isn't something she's doing on purpose. It literally just happens. And so the guy now has to deal with somebody that's treating him a lot different than she used to. People are going to say, well, she's pregnant. She's carrying a whole human being. And I get it. But a lot of times when y'all pregnant, y'all don't even like yourselves. So can it be that hard to understand how it's difficult for somebody else? I feel like there needs to be counseling for new parents to teach each other on how to deal with each other's emotions during those first years of pregnancy. This might save their relationship.
Now, they did not feel that video.
I didn't hear you say y'all don't even like yourselves when you're pregnant. My ears must have. I don't know. I didn't hear when you said that part.
He just said it. I heard it.
What?
No, I heard it this time.
Oh, you didn't hear?
I didn't hear it the first time.
you listened
I
to it
listened
the
the
first
video.
time.
They did not.
You know what's so funny?
Because there were certain
video.
things that he said that closed the ears for a lot of women or anything else. After
they
he
don't wanna
said
hear
certain
nothing.
things, they was like,
I didn't even hear
Fuck
that
this
part.
nigga.
fuck the rest
What?
of it.
They didn't. They
Yeah.
did
But
not
what's so funny is
like that video.
I did not know that you made a video. I did not know that was a video, but I liked it.
Support. That's what we was talking about earlier.
I didn't even know that was a video.
She
just liked it.
She just
Double
liked it. Yeah. my brother posted some shit.
My brother
I love
posted
that shit.
Whatever that nigga said, he said that
Awesome.
shit.
I might even share that
Now-
shit to my story.
Real quickly before,
Damn.
what did you think about the video, Tage?
I'm gonna get some backlash, but I don't give a fuck. I agree with it, and I've been pregnant twice. My son's father is actively a part of his life, but we're not together. He fucked that nigga, but we're cordial. My daughter's father hasn't even met her.
God damn.
He made it very clear as soon as I got pregnant that he didn't want the baby, and I was like, well,
Damn, we got the same baby father. What's his name?
I'm not gonna say it on the podcast.
I was joking.
But I'll tell you off the air.
Oh God.
So
were y'all in a relationship?
we were fucking with each other during the pandemic. So no, it wasn't a relationship. It was a situationship. You know, shit got crazy one night. Remember what you said earlier? All you
One
gotta do
night
is,
only.
blink at me like this, and there's a baby in my belly.
Right.
Yeah, pulled out and all that, and still ended up pregnant. And I'm
That
just
pre-cum is a
Dash.
I had a plan B
How do you
baby.
feel?
my son was a Plan B baby. My son
so
was
fucked
my son was a straight off of Depo for 3.5 years.
I had a
and
Depo.
Plan
I had a
B
Depo baby.
and then my daughter
What
was
the fuck is Depo?
a full
Depo
the
Pavera is
Depo
a
shot. So
in your
basically, conceived on birth control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the Depo
Well,
shot.
Josh,
Yeah.
what did you
Yo.
think about this video?
I don't really have no beef with it. I don't think that
Me either.
I don't think that you said anything crazy. I think that you said and you just basically elaborated on a conversation that we've had on this podcast several times, and given the perspective of the male, which is a person that we don't consider when we're pregnant,
Yep.
because we have to think about ourselves plus the baby, and then when the baby is born, we have to think about ourselves plus the baby. And I can understand how you can kind of feel like a third wheel in your own family, because you don't really serve a purpose right now other than to be the support. And a lot of niggas don't know how to be a secondary. They don't know how to play a secondary role, so it becomes problematic. Even within the pregnancy, like, everybody's kind of just like sitting ducks waiting for the baby to come, and you're just having like one experience, but I'm going through freaking a whole circus in my belly every day. So you're like, oh, this shit is boring. We not doing nothing. We not going nowhere. We not doing the things that we used to. And I'm like, I'm going through a lot. Actually, you're just not going through anything. So I can understand that dynamic. And I agree that there needs to be some type of prenatal, postnatal counseling. Just like I said, that there also should be prenatal and doulas and aftercare and all of that we've spoken about on this show several times.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you guys understood where I was coming from. I'll speak about the reaction I got from the internet after I play Kasha's response.
You ripped my brother's shreds?
No.
I don't think she did.
I watched your response, and it was, you hit the nail on the head. I elaborated
you.
on what you said in his DMs after that, and that's how I ended up
And the conversation.
being
That's
here
so
today.
Crazy. Full
Yeah.
circle.
Oh, damn.
So
I
then-
wonder if you saw me like that and think that I actually had an opinion, and that's why everybody...
No.
Okay, because I was just about to say, because I really didn't watch that shit.
Well, I'm gonna play this video so that people can hear the brilliance.
Why is it that so many couples break up the minute shorty gets pregnant or like the year or two after she has a baby? Of course, the women are going to say because men are this.
Okay, now Tahoe, I'm going to start this off in an unconventional way. There might be some scientific terms. Y'all stick around with me. But there is a significant lack of understanding for what a man might experience when a woman is pregnant. I think that this is something that really needs to be addressed because we don't really pay attention to how they're treated, not just by the person who might be carrying their child, but in general, by the people around them, by their healthcare network and providers and doctors. And they're treated like an extra. They're treated like a extra who was casted in a Law and Order episode, basically paid $200 to walk down the block. Like, they're treated like they're not a part of the process. And even though they're the ones who are providing care, and obviously we all know that the person who's receiving that care, being that woman who is pregnant, is someone who is deeply in need during that period of time, we have to acknowledge, and we know firsthand, that the caregiver in many instances is often neglected, and often neglecting themselves for the care of that person. Take that into consideration, guys, because that's something that's huge, and at the end of the day, this is their child too. Now, guys, on the flip side of that, let's make a blanket statement. You can actually never, in truth, ever understand what it is that we experience during pregnancy. It's simply not your experience. It's something that you will never truly ever get to feel. Now, the woman's side of this conversation, I'm gonna talk about it from both a scientific side and just a whole regular old common sense side, right? Now, psychologically, our brain experiences significant shifts during pregnancy. The way I can make this the simplest way is that we experience a decrease in gray matter, right, activity in our brain during this time. Really no change in white matter, and then we also experience a significant increase in our default mode network, in other words, DMN, during this time period. Now, the way to make that make sense, the gray matter in our brain controls our muscle functions, our ability to regulate our emotions, make decisions, listen, do things that require that sort of active function. Now, the white matter is the responsible, it's more like the highway carrying the information to the neuron. So we don't experience a lot of changes there. But that default mode network, baby, the best way I can explain this is a part of brain function that controls your ability to have your mind be at rest when your body is. So when they say that there's a significant increase, that means that when a woman's body is in a resting state during pregnancy, her mind is still actually having an increase of significant activity during that period, which means that quite literally we are not at peace. We are not at rest during this period of time. Now, the other thing that's really important to note, because you asked the question about what happens after the baby comes, is that reduction in gray matter that helps us understand the decisions and our feelings and X, Y, and Z, that effect tends to carry on up to 6 years after childbirth. Lastly, let's just have a conversation about emotional intelligence on both parts here, right? Now, emotional intelligence, in my opinion, is heavily reliant on a person's ability to have the proper vocabulary to express their emotions. A lot of times, the lack of understanding that happens during pregnancy comes from a person's inability to express to their partner what they're actually feeling in that moment in a way that they can receive it, understand it, and take action based off of that information, right? Now, obviously, with our default mode network, right, decreasing our ability to even rest properly, with our gray matter reduced, and decreasing our ability to understand our emotions, recall memories, make decisions, it becomes a lot more difficult to find the right words to describe what it is that we're even going through. Now, the other side of that emotional intelligence is having the ability to be self-aware so that you have the ability to see the emotion, recognize how I'm feeling, and then regulate that mood or feeling in that given moment. Also, a process that is deeply disturbed during this time, right? Then that is something that really affects your ability to manage relationships. So your ability to be a partner, your ability to be a collaborator, a team player at this time is basically damaged by your ability to regulate your own self sometimes. Now, this is not an excuse. Really what these are things that you should take into consideration, things that should allow you to give each other grace, recognizing that you guys are both a part of the same experience but have two different sides of it. We're not going to talk about the fact that these are not things that stop after the child comes, okay? Bottom line, listen, baby, when that child is born and comes into this world, nobody is getting 3 to 4 weeks of vacation time in the tropics. You go from one side of that process directly into the other, to a lack of even more sleep, to a higher level of anxiety, to a whole lot of more good feelings and bad feelings mixed in. So the best thing that we can do to ensure that people are not necessarily splitting up or breaking up during this process
is don't have kids.
To the world, is take the time to understand or even have compassion for the other person. And that one little detail right there can save a whole lot of motherfuckers. Now, I've been talking about 5 minutes. I'm gonna shut up now and going about my business, okay? Bye.
I disagree. Don't fucking have kids. It's not worth it. 10 out of 10 will not recommend.
It's slavery.
I want to say that this video by Kasha
Ghetto and Tree
was amazing. It was amazing. And everything you said actually proves to me that women are the problem.
What the fuck? How we got here?
Yo, I almost spit.
I need to hear it.
You literally,
mic.
for one, the reason why I say that is because Do you know I've never heard none of that shit before? Now, y'all say do research, y'all say do all that. You don't even know who you are for 6 years. Your ability to be a partner in a relationship is extremely diminished. And when I express that, when I say everything to you about what is happening with us, you aren't even able to emotionally, intelligently communicate to me. But I am supposed to have grace for 6 years while you have changed your entire thing about you. I am just supposed to be like, all right, well, when I'm trying to communicate with you, nothing's happened to me. You're right. Nothing's happened to me.
Can I ask you a question?
Nothing. Yes, because I know that y'all gonna kill me.
I'm not looking to kill you.
And I understand it. But what I'm saying is,
I don't want to fight.
This is why the classes are so important, because the women don't even know they're going through this. All of the women telling me, go do the research and all of this shit, they're not educated on this shit either. They're just pregnant. And they're just trying to take their prenatal vitamins and make sure that they're not doing wild shit to fuck up the baby.
But it's not.
But the majority of them,
the majority of education altogether. It's not their problem. Why aren't you educated on this?
It's not even just that. This is going. Oh Lord Jesus, my level of education is that I am a board certified clinical sexologist. And people think that means we just study sex, but I have to study psychology. Right. I have to study human behaviors. Right. I have to understand trauma. And so I have a different layer of information that most people don't.
Exactly.
And that's
should.
Hold on. That's the level of information I paid for. Mm-hmm. So let me say that, because financially I've shared I'm in a different tax bracket, right? Mm-hmm. I can afford to. Now, what we really want to get into is, it ain't on men or women. It's the fact that the majority of the people who are impacted by this, let's be real. This is a black families conversation. Mm-hmm. This is not the same in a lot of other demographics, right? Especially white demographics. The access to the information. When you go for a fucking appointment for the first time as a black woman pregnant, they expect that you don't have a father in the picture. Yep. Let me just tell you that first. The healthcare system is all fucked up. That's why y'all get treated like third wheels in the process, because you got a man here with you?
Stand over there in the corner while I pay attention to her. And if I ask a question, they don't even look at you. They look back at her. So you kind of feel like, well, let me mind my business.
That to the white people. They don't do that to them. No, I'm gonna tell you, and I watched it firsthand. So the other part of that, Tahoe, you said for up to 6 years, right? Because that's exactly how long we can be impacted by it, especially for a first-time mother. The level of anxiety and fear you experience, now you're responsible potentially for how someone comes out in life. That's a heavy, heavy responsibility. So I don't think it's that you're the problem. I don't think it's that we're the problem. I agree. The lack of knowledge and education is a problem. I agree with your recommendation that there should be some sort of class. The same way you can teach me how to put my titty in his baby mouth. The same way they got classes to teach you how to strap a baby in a car seat or properly.
Why do y'all have that? But this is my thing, right? I thought it was me. I thought she didn't like me. I thought that I did something wrong. Like
put that baby in her.
I thought,
that's what you did wrong.
And it's so crazy because
you put 2 in the last one.
I'm not only working. I'm 2 months out of jail. I'm like a messenger. I'm working at a fucking coffee shop. She couldn't even work after a while. She got put on a bed rest. She had twins, so she's on bed rest. Yeah. So now I'm cooking, cleaning. Right? I can't have her shit crazy. Her parents come here.
You the bitch.
I live there. Whatever it may be, right? But she's changed towards me, not everybody else. They don't have to live there with her. I felt the change. So they're just seeing their friend, and she puts on a smile when they come by, and everybody's like very worried about her and everything. But I'm on a daily basis noticing she don't fuck with me like that no more. More so for me was because I didn't really want to have the children at first, but I stayed.
But did you? And I'm sorry.
No. Say what you want.
But did you? So we are experiencing ourselves internally. We're not experiencing ourselves from the outside looking, and we don't know how other people receive us. People might tell us, but we'll never fully know. So, like you said, you didn't want to have kids, but you stayed. And I understand that you're cooking and you're cleaning, you're doing all of these things, but there may have been some sort of resentment or some sort of anxiety.
Very much so.
Exactly. And what
so.
you don't understand is, even though you don't think she's feeling that or receiving that because you stayed, doesn't mean that she isn't. You stayed, but she can, and you're doing all the things.
Very much so. I
Right.
agree with you.
So that's a part of it.
But
You have to understand, you guys are experiencing each other. She's seeing you do the things, and she knows that you stayed, but she can feel your energy.
Does that
Tahoe.
discount my feelings?
No.
Your feelings are not
It
discounted.
doesn't
This is what I'm
discount your
saying.
feelings,
I'm
but
now existing. You have every right to feel that way because I didn't want to have these children, right? You have every right to feel that way because I expressed that to you. I expressed it. You have every right to feel your resentment. But now on a
No,
daily,
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is her, and I don't know, I wasn't there, but her not really fucking with you like that might not be because of you expressing your feelings and not wanting the kids. It could be because you are also not fucking with her in the ways you used to and don't realize that.
It could have been, that could be true
because
too.
you also have your
that
own
could be
resentments.
true too. And you know what? I will give that. I definitely, but I'm not sure if my response was because of that or just like it's like a chicken and egg conversation.
Yeah,
right,
it
right,
is.
right now because now we both in this, but now I'm trying to work through it. But because you're having all of these psychological changes as well as whatever you may have felt towards me,
Hormonal as well.
There's
Well, it affects
there's
your
layers. And remember what I said to start this part of the conversation? I thought it was me.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know all of that was going on. I'm thinking, okay, I'm staying. We've been in love for so long. We finally together. All right, fuck it. Right? We here. It is what it is. I'm not gonna tell you to get rid of twins. Like once I found out it was twins, that's it. We having kids. I'm not gonna tell you to get rid of twins. Right? This is early and this is fucking looking at the pregnancy test. Me saying I ain't want it. This ain't several trips to the doctor. This isn't, oh shit, you got 2 in 1 sack. This is the pregnancy test.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now we're here. I don't know what's happening. I internalized that. Nobody told me DNN and white matter and gray matter and psychologically this and that. I don't know. I'm thinking it's me. You understand what I'm saying? You changed towards me.
And she's thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
And I'll say this: I've carried twins. They unfortunately, I lost my children in my second trimester.
Jesus
stillbirth,
Christ.
right?
That's a
so,
long
but what I
ass
can
time.
tell you is, as someone who's carried a single pregnancy and a multiple pregnancy, that I've unfortunately been on that side of reproductive loss more than I like, because I do possess the ability to create multiples, and the most I've carried is 3.
Jesus,
what the fuck?
Lord.
Yes.
God
Jesus.
damn.
I said if you
Even your ovaries thick.
I'm
Yeah.
pregnant.
My daughter was the same.
I actually typically, you know, in the process you drop 1 egg. I typically sometimes
Me too.
I commonly do it. So, but what I can tell you, the
Wow.
difference that I experience, because every pregnancy is different, but the difference that I experience. So, if you think that's the emotions and the surge and things, if one child is in you, you got
Amplified
multiple
with 2.
children in you.
Right.
So it's even more of a pull on your energy, on everything.
And she's a Virgo.
right? Because
You always gotta throw that in there.
well,
You should have led with that.
That matters because let me tell you something, Tahoe. That matters.
I love it. We come on, that's peace.
I know it's peace,
cool.
but what I'm gonna say about her being a Virgo is
cool.
extreme attention to detail as well. Super,
Yeah.
very much so, right?
Yes, very much
so. That
so.
means that she probably noticed every bit of
Exactly.
residual resentment that she was speaking about. But
Oh, yeah,
to
she
the
knows
degree, I think that this is no different than the argument we have in general as men and women. It's always us versus them. Nobody stops. Nobody realizes, like I said, you're on 2 ends of the same experience. And she won't know how you feel. She never knows what it is to be a man caring for a pregnant woman the same way you'll never know what it is for her to be a pregnant woman carrying a child. But for 2 seconds, even though we know this is the truth, we only can focus on our experience sometimes, right? It's a simple thing. It's not always us versus them. It's at some point somebody got to say, "Yo, listen, we both going through this shit. How the fuck we gonna get through it?"
Yep.
Right, and that's where it happens. But that's
I don't think
not.
we ever had that convo.
Can I
No.
Can I
Even
give
living there together.
Yeah.
an experience?
Yes.
I am an advocate for having black doctors.
Oh, 100%.
I don't like the other people anywhere near or around me
Lord.
in any other space.
I could have started a Negro spiritual that statement alone.
When I was pregnant, I had a black woman that was a doctor, Dr. Sophia Lubin. She just started a podcast. That's my baby, and she's beautiful. I love her down. And we like became like pseudo friends because I feel like your GYN is supposed to be your buddy because you
That's
all
your
up in my
bestie.
shit.
Yeah.
So now we gonna talk some real shit. Like that's my girl. And I also had a black woman therapist. So I was doing both at the same time. So a lot of the things that I was going through emotionally, I understood because they equipped me very, very well. My therapist equipped me with understanding that because my baby father is a fuck nigga, that was not my fault. And I, within taking accountability in my part of our relationship's demise, also releasing the part that had nothing to do with me, because a fuck nigga is going to be a fuck nigga no matter how old, how young, whatever.
We got the same baby father?
This is what I'm trying to
tell you. And did we have the
tell
same
you.
therapist and the same doctor?
That's
This
what
is
she
what I'm
said
trying to
to
tell
you.
Because
We-
that's crazy.
We got the same baby.
That's my experience.
They must be brothers or something because it's very strange.
We gonna talk after this.
Yeah, we are. But along with that, my doctor, Dr. Lubin, she was amazing. She saw things that I did not see, obviously, because this is her profession. She protected me in so many ways. Like, I'm very hard-headed. I'm very like, I'll be all right. It's fine. Fuck that. I ain't doing that. I had preeclampsia when I was pregnant, and which resulted in having high blood pressure later. But I had high blood pressure with the baby, and my blood pressure would get so high that I was like in stroke lane.
Shit.
And I remember one day in particular, I went in for a doctor's appointment, and she said, "Oh, you're not leaving. You're going to the hospital right now." And my stupid ass, because what had happened was my charger broke on my phone.
So you wasn't going to the hospital.
So what I said, listen, I'm going to go to the hospital, but the Apple store around the corner. So I'm going to go to the Apple store, get a new charger, and then I'm going to go to the hospital. And she said, "Oh, so you think I'm playing with you?" And I said, "No, I don't, but I don't think you understand that my phone finna die, so how the fuck I'm going to be in the hospital? I'm not going to be able to get in contact with nobody in the motherfucking hospital. Nobody going to know I'm in the hospital." So we're arguing. And my doctor was like, "Let me explain something to you right now. You're going to the hospital right now. Somebody better come pick you up, or I'm going to put your ass in an ambulance myself." To the point that I called my friend. She came and picked me up. I was like, "All right, my friend is outside right now." She said, No. She needs to come upstairs. I need to see her face, and I need to make sure that your ass go to the hospital." And I'm like, true. Because sometimes you just need a black woman.
She
like
black auntied you.
Yeah, she definitely black auntied me. But within that, like, she equipped me for everything. Everything that I was going through, every little pain, every butterfly, everything. She's like, "All right, we're getting into this trimester. You're going to start feeling like this. You're going to start going through that." And that's what we need. We need that community of people, our skin folk, our kinfolk, to be able to equip us. Even when my baby father was on his bullshit, that nigga was on FaceTime. She's like, "No, call him." And I'm like, "Fuck him." She's like, "No, he's out of town. That's fine. FaceTime him right now." And he would be on FaceTime at the doctor's appointments because he lived in a different state. Like, that's what we need. We need to find our tribe. We need to find the doulas. We need to find the doulas that accept our healthcare. We need to find black doctors. We also need to be in therapy while pregnant.
Absolutely.
Because you're going through so much shit. It was so much that was going through. Job changes, figuring out monetary things, figuring out changing in the body, changing in the face, changing in the skin, changing in the nose, change. And I can't always speak to the man because you don't get the experience. But I can talk to my therapist about it and not be a bitch to you every day because I went through this in therapy. I had the conversation.
No.
Exactly. So now you have space
Yes.
for your man to give him what he needs.
And they might
to be there for him.
they might actually also be able to better equip you with, like I said, that language piece people take for granted. If you don't have the proper language to express what you're feeling, you can't effectively do so, right? So there's a growth period there. But when you talk to your therapist, not only can I sort through my stuff, I can say, "Well, now I need to explain this to my partner. Can you give me some advice on how I might be able to enter into that conversation?" That layer doesn't exist. And unfortunately, until you are diagnosed with something, insurance companies don't want to pay for it.
Yep.
Right?
I paid for my therapist out of my pocket when I was
about
pregnant.
to say, I literally looking for a black therapist, could not find black therapists that were like in network. I had to pay $150 to $200 some a session,
literally,
to see them. But not everybody financially
can
afford that, and that is the biggest discrepancy here. Even a couple that's doing decent, you could have 2 city jobs or whatever. After you slice and dice shit down, you ain't got $1,000 to throw to therapy most of the time while you prepping for a new child.
So my thing was to speak to therapists about this idea that there need to be prenatal classes, counseling. And so it started out with therapy. And I was like, therapy to me doesn't sound like a good idea, because they're just going to go off your own experiences in the beginning, and you need preparation for what's going to happen, because a lot of times you won't know there's a problem until there's a problem. It's a problem now. Shit is already, it's set in. The resentment is set in, and you need to be able to prepare for those emotions, so you know how to communicate with each other, so you know how to read, you know how to give grace, you know what to expect. Oh, this is what's happening. Oh, you're going through that. Okay, hold on, I got you. You need your foot rubbed, you know, any other, hold on, you need me to go in the other room for a while, whatever it may be. But hold on, I spoke to one of my therapist friends, Brittany, Bring It Brat, and she's like, nigga, this shit exists already. Y'all just don't want to pay for it. Or they want to pay for other shit. They don't want to pay for this. Or this. And I'm like, but
if you spending 10 racks on a baby shower, like, what are we doing?
That's what she had a big problem with. And I was like, but nigga, most of us are not ready for pregnancy.
That's another
Most
problem.
of us don't plan pregnancy.
That's another problem.
It happens, and most
also
times it
can't
catches you off
plan
guard.
pregnancy.
But we're also a one paycheck away from disaster.
Right. But like she said, they'll find the money when it's necessary. But the problem is, I shouldn't have to. If I'm paying for insurance, or if I have a plan, it should pay for it. Bottom line.
It should be covered.
And it should be covered. But on top of
covered.
it, there's an anomaly here. So I'm very big on being an adaptable human, right? The problem with pregnancy is that it is not identical in any person.
Everyone is
and
different.
even in a person who's carried a pregnancy, every pregnancy you carry is not
different.
identical. You really don't know what to expect.
Let me explain to y'all.
And I was sorry, Tahoe. I just want to say, because this kind of feeds into now that same pregnancy led into special needs kids, right? I don't give a fuck how much what to expect when expecting you read. Nothing prepares you for all of these things. So there's a level of adaptability that you have to be coached in. Understanding how to do some level of research to be prepared for what may come, so that you are able to shift when it happens is a part of it. But the problem is, I think, and what I'm really saying is, there's a level of preparedness that you can't prepare for until it, you know what I mean?
So this is my thing, and you guys are probably not gonna like this. I'm not speaking to y'all. I'm speaking to men.
Why wouldn't we?
I think that men exist in relationships for a reason, that when the woman stops or can't do it anymore, they don't find need for it, or they just can't like fathom. I think the nurturing aspect, or her like being your like mom, that mother role, that do for you, that pour into you, that support thing, when it becomes about the baby, it's like it kind of shakes us at the core. We don't get it. When she's expecting you to do shit because she's pregnant, it becomes more obligation than what you really, when you was doing it because you wanted to. I know this sounds crazy, because the niggas gonna be like, what? But think about this, bro. Like, you left your mom's crib because she was talking to you a certain way. She was expecting you to clean your room and da-da-da-da. You got out here, you got shorty, and shorty, what do you say? Oh, you don't cook, you don't clean. You just gonna be like, that's what women do, right? I know this sounds crazy, but when she gets pregnant and then she starts talking to you like, well, you was supposed to do this, why you ain't do that? And it's kind of like you back in that situation with your moms again.
That doesn't sound crazy.
You're now off playing Call of Duty. You're back in your room. it's almost as if this is the same situation that you was trying to get away from when you was in this house with your mom and your dad wasn't there, and you didn't really see this loving, nurturing thing. There's something that happens to you that could be triggering you back to that PTSD from growing up with your mom, that you wind up going to stand in the corner till the end of the to the wee hours of the morning because you didn't want to go in the crib and deal with that shit. Ain't no woman gonna be telling me what to do all the time. Like, I'm past that. I'm too grown for that. Bro, I know this don't say, I know that to the guys, they like, yo, Tyler, you on your own shit. But some shit be happening on a cellular level, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need the education to say, yo, this is going to happen. You might feel like this. That is not actually what's going on. If we're going to look into the statistics of how many relationships break during pregnancy and the year or two after, it can't be that we just ain't shit. It can't be that we just all ain't shit, my nigga.
It's not.
Some shit is that we don't know how to deal with this, and
it's hitting
us. It's hitting us deeper than we really know what to do with.
And there's levels to that, because what I'm hearing you say is, one, you feel, aside from feeling like you're no longer being seen and nurtured and loved, it's also a feeling of my masculinity is being taken away from me. My manhood is being taken away from me. Now I'm a little boy again. And the combination is a bad combination. But then it goes back to what we spoke about, before, when it comes also to community and just men not having community, because there is therapy and there is education and there is all of that. But men aren't talking to each other, because if you have older brothers and friends and fathers and uncles that can be like, listen, this is what's going on. This is what I experienced. You feeling this way is normal and it's okay and it's going to pass. After this amount of time, you guys don't have that either.
There's a common denominator in every conversation we've had.
Yep. There is.
These niggas need fathers.
A lack of you guys having a community amongst each other, right? And a lack of knowledge, education, and a space for therapy keeps coming up. No matter what we talk about, it keeps you can't get away from it. And I think that has to be illuminated in discussion. The other part of it that I think, Tahoe, to which you're speaking to, so if we're speaking to the men, we're speaking to the men, but we also need to speak to the women on this. Again, like I said in the video, being a caregiver, people take for granted that role. If you're caring for someone who's undergoing cancer treatments, if you're caring for someone who, is sick or ill, even as a parent, when my kids get sick, my first reaction is like, fuck. Right? So we naturally have a response to know that this is about to require more of us than we typically have to. And what you're dealing with as a caregiver is 9 consecutive months of that, and then the postpartum period, because her body is still in recovery post-delivery.
To me, that's
for X amount of time. Part. It's super difficult, because it's so unpredictable. So now we've got a year potentially plus of you in caregiver mode, because not only is the care of the woman going to be relevant once the child is born, now you have to care for her and your child, right? People take for granted the weight that has on the caregiver. And that's why I said what I said about with the understanding the place for men. If you recognize there's something you don't understand, though, there's 2 things you could do. You could choose to stay ignorant or get proactive about learning it, though. Because to a degree, we could blame significantly a lot of shit on a lot of lack of availability, this and this and that. But that motherfucking internet, you could get on TikTok when you're looking to figure out how to stop your period before the nigga that you want to fuck come through, right? I've seen girls, literally, if you...
What, you got to drink like a warm Guinness and a pomegranate?
They say that. They got the whole... They got 20 different techniques.
Right? Something like that.
You miscarry.
But the point is, like, women we will search when we're ready. We will read 30 reviews before we buy a bodysuit.
You goddamn right.
Right? Same thing with guys when you're proactive about doing something. So there's also a call to action.
Yep.
We have to be proactive about understanding each other's plight. Bottom line, as a caregiver, you need to understand what you might encounter and what you might be caring for. And as the person going through it, we may have to understand how to better communicate that, so that you're able to do what you need to do effectively. Bottom fucking line. And that's just like, it's a dual accountability.
There is.
And that's a lot to ask for from a community of people that are underprivileged, undereducated, underfunding. And this is why, like, I'm a strong advocate that Black people should not be popping these babies out like this. We are not prepared. We are not prepared. We're not prepared. We're not prepared. And when I say fuck these kids, I don't mean it like in jest. I don't mean it jokingly. I mean it like seriously. Like kids and having children, none of us are fully equipped. No matter how many times my friends tried to tell me, and that's why I'm so graphic in the manner in which I tell pregnant women about it and I speak about it, and especially my experience, because I feel like everything is sugar-coated, everything is daisies. Oh my God, it's the best thing in the world to become a mother.
No, the fuck
and
it's
being
not.
a mother is amazing. And it's like, I feel like I'm in fucking Mary Poppins. Like, this shit is ass. This shit sucks. You barely scratch the surface. It's so much that comes with it. I love my kids. I love them. Love them.
Nobody listens to Tahoe.
My children are the reason why I am where I am today. They are the reason why I love. They are the reason why I was able to. I've been able to grow in my career because everything I do for them. There were so many years that I could just fucking chill and I didn't have to overachieve and I didn't have to do anything because all I had to do was worry about myself.
Yep.
And the minute that I had to worry about and care for somebody else, I've been overachieving and overdoing ever since. I have not slept effectively in 6 years. Who the fuck wants to deal with this? I don't sleep. Even now.
What did we say was the timeline? I said the effects can last.
Yo,
Post after for a certain amount of time.
my baby
It's
just
real.
started
But
chilling.
I'm an adamant
2 months ago.
I'm an adamant member of FTK at Fuck These Kids. I do believe it's reserved for parents who are actually real parents, though.
Facts.
Because everybody can't say that shit.
A weekend dad can't tell me fuck these kids, nigga. You don't have kids.
Yeah,
you're a
different
babysitter.
scenario.
I got
It's a different
baby
scenario.
mamas.
But I think
Fuck
like
the kids.
in totality, we're all on the same page, and I like what you said. I 1000% agree with, especially like you can't prepare for the anomaly. Like that's why I say what I say. And
Get 'em.
oh Lord, I'm gonna take a deep breath for 2 seconds. But that when you said like not having kids, when we actually had a conversation on the podcast that I'm on about this subject, and we were saying, well, what are the type of things you should think about before you have kids? And I was like, everybody talked about all this stuff, but I'm the only one who actually has an autistic child, right? I'm like, well, listen, motherfucker, I did do a lot of preparation. I did take a time to do a lot of reading. Nothing prepares you for that day that someone said to me that my kid had a diagnosis. But also, nothing prepared my partner. And how they handle that information and how I handle that information might not have been the same, right?
Nigga,
you got a lot of people who
the way I had to have a
spouses
come
leave
to
them.
Jesus moment. We had to have a come to Jesus moment when one of our friends, because they found out their kid was autistic, and like really had to sit down on the phone like, yo, it's gonna be okay. It's not the end of the world. They just process things differently. They just learn things
But it's
differently.
not just that.
But it's like sometimes a nigga think like they did
shit
something wrong.
Off my entire living room, everything after spending.
You
know,
lost
like,
me.
because a child.
said you
because
lost
let's
me.
keep it
You
real,
lost
right? And this is my real experience. I mean, nobody want to hear that shit. Everybody talks about, oh, look at my autistic kid succeeding, but nobody's talking about that. I have replaced TVs because anytime he couldn't understand or regulate himself at 3 years old, he flew a Tonka truck and broke flat screens. He smeared shit on walls and couches, and I wake up and that's what I'm cleaning off of my child at 2 and 3. Nothing prepared me for that as a first-time mother.
That's why I'm not having more kids.
And the problem with that is, in most of these cases, not just in parenting in general, but also in that instance, they're going to offer a lot of support for the child. You're going to have to find your support. But the shit you was talking about, the Mary Poppins bitches,
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now.
those are the people who have the village.
Men don't.
Yeah, I don't got one of those.
Men don't know when they need support or how to find it. Because when we say shit to our friends, they laugh.
They laugh at it.
They laugh it off, and so you kind of get taught not to say anything. Tasia, I know you've been sitting here for a while. You've been wanting to say something.
It's a few things I want to touch on earlier when you said, as the person receiving the care when you're pregnant, the being cognizant of the fact that the other person is having an experience. But, it's more than just being cognizant. And it goes back to when you're getting married, there's counseling for marriage.
Yep.
There's no reason why there isn't counseling, whether you're married, whether you're in a situationship, whether you just fucked this girl and she got pregnant. If you guys are going to be raising this child together, there needs to be some sort of coaching and counseling so that way you guys can understand each other. Because it's more than, okay, I need to be cognizant. It's a matter of understanding and grace and giving empathy. And empathy is, I can't relate to your experience because I've never experienced it, but I can give you love and grace. And my head is good. I'm leaning back, but my head is good. My head is good.
But and even for single people,
And
when you
even
realize that you ain't about to go through this with somebody.
And
so
no,
yeah,
it's
you're
true
right.
because, and just like you said, is fuck these kids. And when I got pregnant with my son, I was 21. I didn't want to have an abortion.
Same here.
I didn't want to have another abortion.
Same here.
I
So
was
I
one
wanted
and done.
I
That
wanted to
shit's
have
traumatic.
the baby, but I didn't want to have I didn't want to be, and I wasn't ready to be a mother. I didn't understand that at 21. And when I got pregnant with my daughter in a very different situation, she was a twin. My family, we carry twins and multiples a lot also. She was a twin, and when I found out she was a twin, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not having an abortion. Lost one, so she's just one. However, I had to wrap my head around the fact that I was going to be a single mother because he's not going to be involved at all. And what a lot of women, I'm speaking to women specifically, is when you are in a situation when you're having a child with someone that isn't supportive or isn't involved or isn't there, you hold on to that. And you can't hold on to that. I immediately, when I decided I am keeping my daughter, I immediately was like, I'm going to therapy because I want to be the mother that I wanted growing up, especially knowing that she was going to be a Pisces when we did the calculations of when I was going to be due.
That
And you have to let go and you have to forgive because we joking about like we probably got the same baby father and he is an ain't shit nigga, fuck that nigga. But at the same time, I love him because I love my daughter.
Ugh.
And I don't want any parts of him. I don't want anything to do with him, but I want the best for him because half of my daughter came from him.
Yep.
And
Ugh.
in order for me to be the type of mother that my daughter deserves and to receive the type of man that my daughter would deserve as a stepfather, I have to forgive him and let go of that.
Yes.
And also
And
acknowledge
fuck that
that she's gonna forever be attached
and
to
she's
him.
always, because he don't want a part of her life right now, and he might not want a part of her life ever, but one day she's gonna be old enough
might
to be
stick
like,
it
I
out.
want to check for him and I want to find out who he is. Even
I'm
if it's
fighting everybody in the house.
Even if it's
I'm fighting everybody in the house. You are up because
Listen,
that nigga was
you
not
are
around. No, fuck that. That nigga was not
you
around.
are up.
No, that nigga was not around. I was here for you, and I'm
They
gonna
don't
tell you.
understand
You're-
that
listen,
at
I
all.
know.
No,
Wait
but
to
also there's
tell
an
her,
identity.
but-
She's an op.
But listen,
She better call Uncle Tahoe.
listen.
You're an op.
Understand
from my
that.
perspective, yes, I know for a fact I'm gonna feel that way. I feel a way that she looks exactly like this nigga.
That shit irritates me too.
Why would you choose to look like your dad?
Like, why would you choose to look
I
like
carried
this
you.
nigga?
I carried you by
Why you don't
myself,
look like me?
and you gonna look like every.
How you gonna
fucking-
act like me and
She's-
look like this
Like
nigga?
she's gorgeous, but every feature on your face is that nigga's.
You know what you
so
gotta do?
She's
Can
already a op.
Nah, you
Can
know
I
what
be
you gotta
honest
do?
with you? But
gotta
you
do what
are
I
my
did.
mother to me. And I'm gonna be straight with you. So let me give you your daughter's perspective that you don't have as a Pisces woman, just like your baby girl. My mother resented me because of that same thing to a degree, unaware that she was doing it.
Oh, no, I'm
right?
obsessed with my daughter.
Right? You could be upset, but I'm gonna tell
a
you
positive way.
But wait, I'm gonna tell you, you don't realize psychologically that obsession of her also contains. We don't realize what people can see that we don't see. So every time I knew my mother looked at me, I knew she saw my dad because as soon as I go like this, that's him, right? And I'm like this all the fucking time, right? Problem that happens in that scenario, and I know you don't want to hear this shit, but I'm gonna say this or whatever the case is, right?
I cracked the code. My fiance looked like he is her father, so I won.
But
on
that
this
doesn't
side. Fuck
stop
that.
you wanting to understand your identity.
Ugh.
So at some point in life, you want to understand you. And when you have an absence of an
That nigga
entire
dead.
50% of who that person is, you are naturally going to want to find out
without
what
a
the
doubt.
fuck that
And
looks
And I'm
like.
still gonna
But
tell you,
yeah.
I'm gonna love you. But you still
I can
up.
feel that way internally, but I would never project that onto her because
love that for you.
Because no,
That's why
but
that
you know-
wasn't for you. That was
for me. She really me.
It's not about me. It's not about me. And you know, similar to you, like I have my master's in psychology, so I understand that
Yeah.
that curiosity is always going to be there. And then regardless, I could get married tomorrow to the most amazing man in the world, and there's still going to be some level of absence and rejection that she is going to feel at some point in her life. So for me, I can't be negative towards him because for her sake, my hope is that when she is of age and the responsibility of having to raise a child and all the things that come along with it, and hopefully he matures into a better man when God deals with him in some way, that if she does check for him, he receives her.
receptive.
He's receptive and he receives her. Not that, he's going to be her daddy and kumbaya, but at least he's receptive and he receives some sort of getting to know her.
something. Hopefully he's grown by then.
Exactly. So for me, I can't go into it holding on to anything negative or feeling any negative way for him. All I can do is wish him the best and hope for the best and love him from a distance. And not like I love you, but like I got love for you because my daughter, as crazy as I was telling y'all she is, because she's a fucking psychopath, she's literally perfection. You know, so I'm grateful for that. And that also just goes back to like, you know, being in therapy and giving grace and giving understanding.
Be like you when I grow up.
I mean, it takes a lot of work.
It does.
Because
the problem is,
let me tell you something. I had while I was pregnant, I had a whole plan on how I was gonna pull up to where he hangs out and get to the roof of the building across the street and snipe everybody around that nigga, not him. So that way it would fuck his head up like, yo, everybody just died around me and I'm still alive, and then pull up on him like 5 years later and be like, yo, and then pull up on him, pull up on him like 5 years later and be like, oh shit, remember that day in the park on June 16th when everybody dropped and died and you was alive? Yeah, nigga, that was me. What's up? And I'm here.
That.
But I got past it. That's awesome. I had to talk through that with my therapist because that was real.
You need to be.
That was right. That wasn't pretend. Like that was real.
I want to say this
see the problem.
For a lot of women
that's a
that
problem,
do
I was gonna go to jail
try
for
to
murder.
give their baby father grace. They still have fear that the shit that he did to her as a baby mother, he don't do to the child.
Son, you play with my baby, I'm killing everybody.
I had to realize that, like, damn.
Well, my
the
baby
shit that my
father
mom
hit me in my face
went through with my
times,
dad.
so for sure.
Who hit you in your
wound up
face?
doing
My child's
that.
father.
Cannot. No.
I'm sorry.
Too.
Sorry. No, Tahoe talk. I'm sorry.
Nah, because I heard you. Yeah, but go ahead. That was crazy.
Too.
No, but you talking about the fair. What happens when your abuser is also your child's father? I'm attached to that man for life. I can't just say, oh, you put your fist on me and I don't want nothing to do with you. Now I got to be a next level of fucking peaceful, right? Because how difficult it is to have to work with that person thereafter. Yeah. You don't anticipate. That's why I said there's certain things you can't prepare for to a degree. Now, we all shared our experience. And in the Cliff Notes versions, I have 2 sons and they have different dads, right? They're 10 years apart, bro, 9 years and change, right? First person domestically abused me, right? So, and with my child in my arms, right? I have a 2-month-old child in my arms. He's drinking. I come back from college, pick up my kid, and this man is mad because some nigga commented under my Facebook photo. I'm not even his girl. Let me be straight with y'all. He ain't even his girl, or whatever the case is at the time. So he's questioning me about somebody that I don't feel like I owe you no answers to. We're not even together. Why are you asking me about what somebody, and I can't control what a nigga comment. I just got back from class. I ain't got time for this shit. Let me get my kid dressed. That's where I'm at. But while I'm dressing my child, this man took his fist and swung at me because I wouldn't answer him and started punching me in my head. My only instinct, and that's why I agreed with you when I said I know I could kill a motherfucker, is because that day it almost happened. And I remember my instinct to protect my kid, hover my body, sacrifice myself, let you hit me. But as soon as somebody got him far enough back, I saw a bottle of 1800 sitting on the counter, and I knew in that moment that I could kill him, right? And I swung and flew it. And if somebody didn't pull him, we might be having a different conversation today, right? So now I am charged.
Have the state of New York on it.
Or maybe it's defense. Or maybe it ain't, but I'm still gonna have to live with that. Imagine having to explain to my kid someday that I did that to his father because his father. You understand? So
that's an easy conversation.
It seems like it, but to that child, there's still a psychological thing. So then that's my first child. My second child, I didn't have those issues with his dad. We had a great relationship, so and so and forth. And then Tahoe, I think I called you when I found out that my second child's father had been hiding 4 children of his from me.
Motherfucker.
I think we all
For 8 years, right? For 8 years, right? So how? Yes, 4 children and 3 other mothers.
Somebody
I'm sorry, 2 other mothers that I never knew existed. So
look, Tom said somebody here got you beat because my big.
No, he's got 6 kids, and let me tell you this: I'm on good terms with both of them today. So let me make that blanket statement, and that's the reality of it. But
I just want y'all to know I ain't got no hidden kids.
Look,
Y'all
you got
always
no
talk
hidden
about me on this podcast. Y'all know all my kids.
I'm keeping it real. I was with this man from 2015. We got together. He cheated on me during our relationship. I didn't find out until now. When I find, literally, this is how this is all playing out, and he had a child, 3 children with that woman, and another with another, and I learned in October of 2023 that my 3-year-old child at the time had 4 siblings that he never even knew existed. So what I'm saying is, you can't predict.
Want to die in real life.
Sometimes,
why they
right?
want to die?
They don't value their life.
To your point, right? we now have to find a way to coexist, right? And there are things that you can't anticipate about a person because they show you the representative sometimes.
All the
and
time.
some people
Most
are
times.
some people are super skillful at keeping the representative in front of you for a very long time.
So I all have the same.
My
babies,
daughter's
right?
father, until I got pregnant, that nigga did a 180.
A
I
whole
thought that
nother
was the
person.
sweetest, most loving nigga I ever met, and I got pregnant. And I said, "Oh, you're a demon." Got it.
It changes. It changes.
devil.
But
Sagittarius.
look, not
No, he's a fucking Gemini.
All right.
All right, wait. I'm gonna marry a Gemini. Hold on.
We will
Hold
be
on.
back tomorrow for another episode of So Shameless.
And he's an Aquarian.
Tasia is actually going to leave. She has to go
We gonna miss you, girl.
climb on somebody's roof and shoot all their friends.
No, don't say
on,
that.
sniper.
Oh, wait, my bad. I don't mean to tell. My bad. I'm joking.
It's a 22.
Tasia,
It was a
please tell these people
hypothetical.
where to find you if you want to be found.
You can
Or you're gonna
find
go into
me.
hiding?
No, I don't go into hiding. I'm not a big. So I'm lying. I'm on social media, but I'm really only on Instagram. So you can find me at Tasia, Tasia, Janine, JANINE dot. What is Instagram.com? I don't know. At Tasia Janine, and I spelled it for y'all. Like,
Now, Tasia, should I say that you're going to be a Kokomo?
you can tell them.
But she running shit. I'm talking about, nigga, it's 5,000 people out there. We had to shut down the RSVP list. Pineapple Express is back.
Oh, pull up on
Okay.
us. Pull up on us.
And she actually runs the whole fucking show while she's there. So you'll see her in a whole nother bag Memorial Day weekend.
We're planning it right now. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. And this is probably one of
right.
our last this year because next year it's gonna be a whole crazy, ridiculous event, completely different than the block because it's
too far.
It's a bit
Too much
out of
for the
control.
block.
But definitely Memorial Monday. What is that? May 30th?
May something.
29th? May 29th. Pull up on us.
That's right.
We're on
Kokomo.
North 9th between Wythe and Kent Street. It's
That's right.
going to be
That's right.
Interesting.
Also, go over to
Hopefully, I
Kokomo.
hope I can come this
Go
year.
over to Kokomo. Well, you
ain't never
come.
been?
No, I know I didn't
she
come
always gotta
last
leave.
year. The year before that, I did come. But I had my kids, and
Don't bring your kids this year. Come without them.
and that was the problem why I didn't come last year because I had my baby. So
By the way, come to Kokomo. Go to Kokomo. Get some of their most amazing food ever. That fucking red snapper is my deal.
Yo, this
I
red
love Kokomo.
snapper. You do?
somebody gotta tell me. Y'all gotta tell me how y'all put the Bob Marley face on the fucking drink because I
Whole
still
thing.
got a picture of that in
It's
my
the whole
phone.
thing.
That's dope.
Pull up on us.
Patreon.com/So Shames Podcast.
thought she
Tasia's got to
wasn't
get
backslash.
out of here.
Just say
Forward
slash.
slash.
Just say slash. Tell them
Okay.
it's one slash.
Okay.
Forward.
This nigga 50 for real.
Okay. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
With the okay. All right.
Okay, we are back. It is ironically. All right, we're not back.
We back.
So why do
never
I
left.
do this?
What? I'm happy.
Is there like a? It's not a humiliation kink. What is it when you're like just always annoyed? Like people annoy you, kink.
We annoying you, Tom?
No, he's talking about me.
It's all of y'all. I surrounded myself
he
with
got
women
burgers
today.
at home.
Why did I do that?
My baby got burgers at home.
But you can't feel bad when we talking about like titties and shit like that. You can't.
My baby got burgers at home.
I personally can't. So
Shit
do I.
sound good.
I
Put me one on the
personally
side,
can't.
toasted bread, a little mayo ketchup. Sorry.
Welcome back to So Shameless. It's so funny that you guys are talking about titties.
Well,
Because
where's
I
this
got
going?
an interesting listener letter today.
Interesting. Okay.
This is a real letter from somebody listening to the show that came to one of our functions before. I know them. You know them, right? And reached out to us about a situation.
Jesus Christ. We haven't had one of these in a while.
It's an interesting situation.
Am I going to be nice or mean?
I don't know. Are
Damn.
you ready
Damn, I don't know whether
to hear the situation?
Okay.
Sure.
My man confessed to me today that he, quote unquote, self-diagnosed himself as a sex addict.
Oh gosh.
He expressed how he randomly gets the urge to come sometimes throughout the day, and sometimes he can't even finish work. He told me that he's been to massage parlors that give you hand jobs. He said he's had this problem for years. He used to meet women online and pay them for sex. However, he hasn't slept with anyone since we've been together, only the hand jobs. Him and I are literally planning to get married within a year, and I'm just lost for words, nor do I know how to feel. My thoughts behind this isn't breakup worthy, and we may potentially be able to get through this, but I'm having trouble processing how I'm going to trust him going forward. I want monogamy. And he says he does as well, but he's struggling with this problem. We do have sex at least 4 times a week, minimum.
Y'all niggas don't work.
Damn, minimum.
That's a lot.
Minimum, hold on, listen to this. Let me start over. We do have sex at least 4 times a week, capitalized minimum, but it's usually more. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Is her pussy okay?
Is her pussy okay?
It's crazy.
What do y'all?
So I think before I dive,
Yeah.
I feel like this is your lane because whatever I'm about to say is finna be ignorant.
I forgot.
Because
I want to hit the ignorant first.
that's what I was thinking.
I wanna
You
hear the
should
ignorant
respond first.
Where do y'all work? How do you have sex more than 4 times a week? I be struggling. What do y'all do? Am I doing something wrong?
You have kids.
But like,
Oh wait, I think they have kids as well.
nigga, I'm tired. Y'all niggas is not tired. Like, how do you find the time? And like, are you always aroused when you're having sex 4 times a week, or is it like a quick lube and a fuck, or you just like a quick 1, 2, 3? Because it's like I don't have sexual urges this much, so I'm so confused when people say these things. What do y'all be doing? What's the question?
What are you
I'm
responding to?
perplexed.
Okay.
No, I'm
What am I
perplexed about the amount of times.
We're talking about a sex addiction though. And
Well, to talk about that, let's first acknowledge that. So there's a lot of controversy around sex addiction, first of all. They are now more commonly calling it sexual compulsion as opposed to addiction.
Okay.
However, it's still controversial because there are elements of compulsion that also lend to addiction. There are some things that he said, that he experiences that absolutely are compulsion and can border the line of addiction, because paying for sex, the urge to frequently come, looking for it any different way is definitely, they are all strong indicators of a person who might too. Like if a person came to me and said, I think I have a sex addiction, one of the first questions I would ask them is how often are you paying for sex? So since he's already admitted that he's doing that, we're definitely dealing with someone who's self-diagnosed appropriately.
So what they need, like a lobotomy?
appropriately.
So there's so many things that can contribute to this though. Like people don't even take it to a fact that there are physical things that can happen to your body that make it happen. For example, if you had like temporal lobe lesions, like the temporal lobe is what controls the sexual behaviors in the brain, right? So if you've had any sort of thing that attacked that area of the body, it could actually result in a surge in sexual activity. Other thing is you got a lot of factors that could be from either childhood or adulthood, especially if there's a trauma background. But most people who have sexual compulsion are seeking a serotonin and dopamine release.
Oh, like a drug addict.
Right. So that's why the addiction piece the word addiction comes into play. They feel like this is going to give them some gratification that leads to a happy, calm feeling, or the dopamine actually gives a reverse. The dopamine actually gives you that surge of like excitement, that whatever, and you chase it because you know that rush is going to have you feeling a certain thing. And people don't realize that the chemical balance that happens when you have a real orgasm or release can become something that you chase or seek. So not wrong.
So you need like a pill to calm
Not
the fuck
necessarily
down.
a pill, because I would never try medicated routes before others, right? So sex compulsion is an issue in couples where when only times it becomes an issue is when both parties don't want it the equally amount, right? So for example, if he's wanting it so much, but she's like, we fucked more than 4 times. If she's okay with that, it's not really a problem. It doesn't become a problem until one partner is seeking a different level of activity than the other. Now we got an issue, right? If they're sneaking to do it, if it's causing you, so the kind of person who's like, oh, I got to be to work. I got 10 minutes. Let me try to get this done before I go. But then it don't take 10 minutes. So so much so that seeking and chasing this feeling will even cause you to be
Interrupting your
late to
life.
work and interrupting your life. And that's when we got a problem, right? So 2 things that I always advise a person in this situation is you need to first list the behaviors that you're looking to stop, and you need to list the behaviors that you're wanting to start, right? You have to the why is always the most important piece. And oftentimes when people come to me for sexuality coaching with a sex problem, the problem is not sex. Even with sexual compulsion addiction, the problem is not sex. It's a surrounding factor impacting sexual response. So what is happening in your regular life, or what happened to you in your life that now forces you to chase this feeling? It could actually be sexual assault. People don't realize that people might experience assault and actually have a hyperactivity of sex as a result. Wow, go fucking figure, right? But at the end of the day, now this I went through this thing and I want to take charge of my experiences so much that I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. Can't nobody tell me anything. I'm having as many one night stands as I want. I'm having as many whatever. We're in a compulsion area. We're in that area. So for her, first of all, she already expressed that she's not okay with the frequency. Right? We're having sex.
Somewhat. She didn't really say that. She
said it's a lot. She said at minimum 4, and it's usually a lot more.
So it's usually more. Right.
And if she's referencing it, likely it's because she feels overwhelmed by it.
That's not overwhelmed. That sounds crazy to me.
It might, unless that's something you're good. I'm somebody who I could fuck every day of the week, and I could sometimes fuck more than once in a day, but it's not because I have a compulsion.
I have a question. But you don't have a 9 to 5, right?
No.
Exactly. That's what I feel. Niggas that have a 9 to 5, I don't understand.
I don't have a 9 to 5, but I got 4 businesses, and I used to have.
But that's different, right?
Well, I just actually stepped away from my corporate position, right?
Was you fucking more than that when you was in corporate too?
Yo,
Yeah.
you need what? Yo,
I don't need what. I'm asking questions, my nigga. I am
let
really.
her finish.
I am perplexed.
No, she's fine. I'm okay with it because I actually think they're good questions, and that's
These are great for
these are
fuck
the
you,
questions that
Tahoe.
people have. Transparently, yeah, because but even in my work, I still had a little bit more autonomy over my schedule. Like no one, I could work at the pace that I wanted to.
Yeah,
but
because
I'm
gonna
be honest,
all day if I'm like on break, like if it's like spring break, if it's summer break. But when I come home at 5:30, 6 o'clock,
but
bedtime is 9 o'clock. When do I have the time?
You feel like when you have the time, but for some people, because they work that much, right? They're seeking this feeling. Serotonin, like I said, releases happy, calm emotions.
That's me.
So they might feel like I can't transition from the 9 to 5 until I have sex, and now I can calm down. Some people can't settle, so that's where the reverse of it comes
that makes
in.
sense.
So you gotta so the first thing this person needs to see a psychologist and potentially also a sexologist. And I always say that because whenever treating sexual compulsion or addiction, if a person isn't already seeing a therapist or hasn't already, that's the first layer. And the reason why I say that is because the psychological side can overlap with the sexual side, but they're still 2 different entities. And also the way we tend to tag team is because a lot of times I'm working with a therapist on the same client. Right? They're tackling one end of the problem, I'm tackling the other end of the problem. Usually they're dealing with helping that person understand why, right? Breaking down the behaviors, giving you guidance on how you might get around it. My role comes in when I'm helping you find a healthier way to still access the same pleasure, but not in a way that there's a compulsion, right? Because people they only see it when it's like, oh, I'm fucking a lot or I'm cheating. No, if you overly are obsessively masturbating, it's a form of compulsion because you're chasing that high feeling that you get when you get that release.
Now, what's excessive masturbating?
Yeah, a lot of men need that question.
It's you. What's excessive? You don't know.
Usually, masturbation. Let me be very clear, right? It's a healthy act
my nuts
in the sense that
what are you doing?
So stupid.
Counting my nuts is crazy.
I feel like personal space. No. She has a problem with personal space.
No, I feel like if you have to ask that question, you the fucking problem.
That's a question.
But you asked it twice with a face. So.
I happened to see a comment in the chat just now, and it was kind of something I was going to say. So first of all, it's too much when it disrupts your life. That's
okay. I'm good.
Like when you're choosing this feeling over your priorities, you gotta look at some shit, right? You gotta look at some shit because masturbation is something I encourage people to continue to do, and especially even
I'm
relationships.
supposed to get 21 nuts a month. I'm chasing that. I don't
Now
want
you
prostate
put
cancer.
the parameter around it, Tahoe. We might have to talk after this.
I've seen a video. You're supposed to nut 21
I've
times
seen
a
a
month.
video. It's great.
Go ahead,
But I'm
Did
just
you
kidding.
send that video to Andrew? Because I feel like he sent that shit to me, and
And that's how it came around.
Each one teach one.
No, but
Well,
there's
each
a
one
lot of
teaches
healthy associations with sexual release because of the hormones that your body secretes after an orgasm. There's a lot of positive, like the oxytocin release encourages the cuddle. They call it the cuddle hormone, right? It's the thing that makes you want to be close sometimes and makes you want to be held and feel that sense. So it's not all negative. It only becomes that when you're abusing it to the point that it's also interfering with your quality of life in other areas.
Yeah.
So if your sexual drive is not interfering with that, you likely don't have a compulsion or addiction. If it is, where you're paying for it, where you're seeking to sneak into massage parlors, he's definitely got that. She needs to encourage that person to get a therapist first. Right. And if that, then consider the option of working with an expert in the sex area. And I say that specifically because my experience with most of my clients that even have therapists is that I have therapists that I have coached. Let me put that on the fucking floor first. And it's because one side of it deals with what you're mentally going through, but what we deal with is one, having a better understanding of your body's response systems, right? Like, how do you respond to sexual stimulation? What drives it? What mental factors come into play? But my goal is to coach you. So I'm ongoing, like a coach in a basketball team. I'm encouraging, you got this. I'm da-da-da. A therapist, most of the time, deals with you during that session, right? Outside of that session, y'all not texting. They not da-da-da-da. They not whatever. So if you are experiencing that feeling and you can't access that person, you may act out. That's why people get sponsors when they have addictions, because that becomes a person that they can call in the moment that they're feeling X, Y, and Z. So that's often what I am for a lot of people, right? That person for sure needs help. And she shouldn't marry.
Not have sex?
Say that again.
That's crazy.
Yo,
they don't call me to not have sex. They call me to. They call only when it's like they realize that they're dialing into that behavior that might fuck with their priorities.
can I tell you my intrusive thought that just came out just now? My intrusive thought was like, so when you coaching, do you wear like turtlenecks? Like that's what I had in my head, but I didn't say it out loud.
Sometimes it's not even a visual.
You can't wear
Sometimes
that
it's
shirt.
on the call.
I can't be FaceTiming you like, yeah.
Well, why would she get that?
I don't want to. What?
I gotta keep the camera like this. Shit, no, you so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. They call me when they don't want to fuck, like, and I'm like,
crazy.
I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
They're like, this
You
is
can't
turning
talk
me
to
on.
like that.
Right.
I have absolutely had clients that have had attractions, women
Of course.
and men, for sure. I'm a professional through and through, though.
I'm here.
You here?
Yeah, hi.
What's up? Don't look at me for too long.
Okay. I'm gonna look this way.
Daj don't want no
Tahoe,
smoke.
don't be hating because it ain't you I'm giving the eyes to right now.
I just
I'm
know
kidding.
she play. She don't want no smoke.
You
she
don't know
dead
what
ass.
I want.
All right.
You don't know what I want.
Okay, listen.
Nah, but
Go
real
ahead.
talk.
So let me ask you a question.
Don't marry that person until if they don't proactively seek help. I would not get married to that person because the problem.
Do y'all think that he has told the truth and the entire truth? He has said in
I think
this
so.
video
Why not?
that he's been to the massage parlor,
Yeah,
gets
but he
hand
hasn't
jobs,
had sex
Here's a
with anybody.
positive.
At least
used
he
to meet
spoke
and pay
about
for
it.
sex, but has
yeah.
not.
That's the positive.
Yeah, I would.
He
I would
cares
respect
enough
that.
about her. You know how hard it is to share with somebody. Here's the part of sexual addiction and compulsion that we got to talk about: the guilt. Because even after they chase it, they get the feeling for the moment, but usually after that moment resides. A
It gets
person
an
with
ick.
compulsion, they feel guilty. How
Yeah.
disgusting are you? You sneaking and going to massage parlors so people can get you off. There's also a self shame and sometimes a self degradation attached to it. So if there's some part of them feeling bad, so now this person's about to get married. And he's with this woman who he's in Cincinnati, and at some point he goes, you know what, I gotta come clean. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I respect
There's
it.
an awareness. The first part to treating any type of form of addiction is acknowledgement. That's why every time you go for alcoholics or narcotics, they make you say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I am a, because you are now claiming and attaching yourself and acknowledging that this is what I am. And for the rest of your life, There's a level of it that you will be. It's just ongoing work to not give in to the temptation that comes with it. So the fact that he shared that with her is a very positive sign. I don't think this is a throw your partner in the trash situation. I think this is a encourage your partner to get the help. And maybe even after they do something on their own, y'all go about it together, right? See a sex therapist or sexologist together.
I told her to go to massage parlors together.
No, they need to find a healthy medium.
Would you say that?
Get yours, I'm get mine too.
Because now she just becomes an enabler immediately. He got a first.
Isn't she already an enabler by giving him sex 4 times a week?
No, but she didn't know. She just found out.
She just found out. But also, giving him sex, him having sex 4 times a week is not the problem. The root cause is not sex. The root cause is why. Why? Until we understand why, there's nothing else that can happen here. And that's in any fucking thing in life. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I sitting here right now? Why am I whatever? You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that this young lady has the strength to deal with that. Me personally, somebody's lying to me for however long and then tells me, I'm going to be thinking about where I was at when you was lying, what you told me you was doing. Sure. Like, it's going to be hard for me to look at you the same. Especially when I had a whole life planned with you. And now I got to go back to all of these instances where you were deceiving me or whatever. So I was like, yo, first of all, I told her we was going to talk about it on the show. And I said that these are basically about how much she can stand and how much she's willing to work to help him out of the situation. Also, how much she's willing to deal with lapses. That's what I said. That was my.
Because look, I'll say this. So comparing this in a way to other addictions, right? My mom is bipolar, and after my grandfather passed, she had a significant break and ended up with a drug addiction, right? To crack. Right.
Damn.
So
I have a visceral thing with crack. Yo, crack.
It's a big thing, right? I was 16 at the time that I became aware of that. So we're talking about a long time ago. This is still an ongoing problem today. And at one point, the first feelings that you spoke about. So, and I'll say this because I also am certified in psychological first aid, right? And you have to recognize a person's first response to receiving traumatizing news. That's so I just got this news that I was not expecting with the man that I'm about to marry. She's allowed to have a response. But the first response is a panic. Oh my gosh, should I marry this man? What am I doing? I thought I knew him. The panic. But once the panic slows down, the next layer is you often start trying to understand what's happening. And what she did in sending that to you is now she's at a phase where she's seeking answers. I don't think she sounds like somebody who's like, I gotta question everything about you. Will she? Yeah, every now and again when he tell her he going somewhere, she might drift there. The work for you, right, is when you're dealing with someone who has an addiction or compulsion, right, with it's uncontrollable. The best thing you can do to help support their recovery is give them more reasons to celebrate being successful at that recovery. So if you're always questioning them, you're always doubting them, even though it took a huge thing for them to say, I have this problem, then they're like, well, what's the point in doing good? She gonna think I'm doing it anyway. It might actually drive them further into the compulsion. Now, she may need her own layer of support and therapy outside of him. It doesn't have to, she could go to therapy, or she could just have a strong support system that she could turn to whenever she's having those feelings, where she can still put it out there, but not necessarily to him, because often that doesn't support or aid in them doing better, if that makes sense. Right? But not to the point where she don't get a chance to acknowledge, like, so this is why you've been making me fuck you so much? Yeah. Right? I'm over here busting it open every fucking time like a Boston crab. I'm always da-da-da-da-da. And me, because then you think it's something wrong with you. Why don't I want it that much? Maybe my sex drive ain't good enough. What's wrong with me? So she might even think she's the problem for not wanting it that much.
I know. I'm going to take somebody
so you got to think about all of that.
Therapist or somebody. I'm going to need to take somebody to the psychoanalyst.
That's crazy. Yo, what's your problem, son?
Maybe it
real.
wasn't me.
It's tough because I even had to deal with that in myself, if I'm being honest, right?
Yeah.
As a sexologist, like having been molested twice, right? And having a super hyper sex drive. I'm a very sexual person, and I'm aware of that. But at one point, I had to make sure that I wasn't allowing the shit that I went through to be the thing that caused me to make bad decisions in this area. Thankfully, I don't really feel like that's been the case. But at one point, I was the same. I'm like, oh, I'm stressed. I need to come. I need to come. Everything.
I do have a question.
Really?
I do have a question
Am I
about
the
deviant
problem?
sexual behavior. Is having the urge to eat ass at 5:30 a.m. on the wake up normal
What?
Yeah.
for a woman?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm gonna tell you this. People like to fuck a lot at night, but all the sex hormones are at their peak in the morning.
This is what I've been trying to say.
No,
People are picking the wrong time of day
I
half the
asked
time.
you,
I can't be
Daj,
fucking at
Daj,
night. I don't.
So let's think about this
No,
time.
you asked me
What
if
are
we
you
have
about to
sex
say?
at You asked me if we normally have sex at night or in the morning, and I said we normally have sex at night.
Yeah.
But I like morning sex.
Jumpstart the
I
day.
did say that. I like morning sex, but
Jumpstart the
niggas
day.
don't have time for that because when my alarm go off at 5:30, I snooze that shit till 6, and then we gotta be up and running. The only time I can have more. This is
So
why
what that
I like
means
to be
is
on
that-
summer breaks and spring breaks so that I can have sex all day.
Listen, truth be told, because I know you in the chat, when that alarm goes off at 5:30 and she snoozes it, you don't snooze with it. Get between them legs.
Get up real quick.
Get between them
Planning
legs.
shit. I'm like, yo,
She gonna go to
nice.
school that day. Kids gonna be wondering why the fuck is she so happy today?
Oh, why the fuck is she
She's so
so tired today?
No, but you know what happens is in the
She
morning.
letting us get away with murder. What the fuck?
Sometimes in the morning, it actually does the reverse. So sometimes
I love morning
people
sex.
crave sleep, right? But
Yes.
good sex could feel like good sleep.
It does. That's
Right?
very
At certain
true.
times. Sometimes it makes you tired, but sometimes after you fucking, you had a good night, you're like, so what we doing today? Like, you know what I mean?
That is very true. But then also, like, for me, like, the flip side of it is I be wanting to have sex in the morning, but I'm also, it's very difficult for me to fall asleep, which is why I'm on Lexapro. Like, I have issues sleeping, period. So I treasure and value sleep. And I also, one of the rudest things in the world to me is to wake somebody up. Even though he'll be like, yo, I'm okay if you wake me up and you want to have sex. But in my head, like, I second guess my, like, this nigga's sleeping peacefully. Like, that's fucked up. Like, let
tell
me
you
just
something
let that
about
nigga
men.
sleep.
They regenerate their testosterone while they sleep at night. Men have the highest production of testosterone happening during their sleep. So when they wake up in the morning, they're at their peak. And then the rest of the day,
It's lowering.
it starts to dial down.
It's lowering. That's why by 9 I'll be dead.
So if a guy is woken up to head or it's why so many guys are like, yo, wake me up to that shit.
That's rapey.
Right? It feels like it, but if you have their consent ahead of time, it's not.
Well,
it's only rapey if they ain't say you could.
when we talk
But,
about
yeah.
Gives me the
What I was
ick.
gonna say is the same levels are high for women. Estrogen and testosterone are always highest in the start of the day. And so if you actually start your day with sex, it could be more productive than ending it, because when you come to sex at the end of the day, it's after
Fucking
the rest of the
exhausted, bro.
day has drained you. And so the level of energy, the effort you put into it might not be the same. Your partner might be thinking you want some bullshit, only give him that side position. But it's really just like, this is what I got for you, babe.
Yo,
Like-
I be fucking like, I'll be thinking about it. Like, I would like, yo, I would love to have sex right now. And it'll be like 7 o'clock. And I'm like, yo, we gonna do this? But by the time 9:30 come, I'm like, nah, nigga, I'm going to sleep.
Going to sleep.
Like, I'm
drained.
tired.
I am
And-
drained. Sleep is sex right
And
now.
I love to have sex with this person. This is part, like, sex is not the cornerstone of my relationship, but
it's
it
a strong
definitely
part.
jump started that whole. So it's like I be wanting to do it like in my head, but then my body and my head, it don't connect.
Some people underestimate the value of it, and I think the other part of it is sex is not just about the physical act; it's connection. It's human connection. It's one way,
Right? I wanna
that
live in
people
your
can
skin,
achieve it.
and that's how I live in your skin.
A sex addict will seek human connection without emotional attachment, It doesn't matter. They just, because some people think that I can have this sexual interaction. It's my way of having human interaction. But afterwards, I don't have to dial into it. But when you have that human interaction with somebody you care about, it's a really positive thing. Because like I said, the same hormones. If you release a cuddle hormone, that's a hormone that makes you feel warm, safe, cozy. If you release serotonin, happiness, calm. Dopamine, excitement, I'm ready to tackle everything. So those are all good things when appropriately applied. So I feel like people don't prioritize sex. A lot of times people come to me and they feel like they're about to break up. And I give them a challenge. For 30 days, have sex every day.
Jesus.
Have sex every day. No matter what, prioritize it. Have sex every day. And see how you feel when you come out of that.
You don't want to sex no more?
Not even that you don't want
30
sex no
days?
more. People will have problems. And they this and that. If you could fuck a person every day for 30 days and come out of it and still have problems, you probably shouldn't be together.
No, I'm gonna have problems wanting sex again.
You're gonna learn. No, it depends on how you approach it. How you learn. You learn a lot. Now, I would say this. It's not the most important, but let me break this down on another level for y'all.
Shit, you're gonna have to. 'Cause 30 days straight.
Let's think about communication.
Same person?
Yes, communication is the most significant part of any relationship, right? Could we agree that
Yes.
it builds trust, it builds all of the things all the other good things starts with a healthy communication.
Yes.
Communication is broken down as 55% body language, 38% tone of voice, and only 7% the words that come out your mouth, right? So the way I could look at you right now and I could say, hey, Tahoe. Or I could say, hey, Tahoe. Or I could say, hey, Tahoe.
Oh, shit.
Right? 3 different energies, same words. So the words are not the most
That was all
significant
same
part.
energy to me.
My tone changed it, and how I shift my body language changed the words. So sex is the greatest form of body language. It's literally a communication of body. Sometimes it don't even involve words. If you ain't no nasty shit talker or whatever. But the shit talking is cool. But if I just said, yeah, fuck me, daddy.
Oh,
it's so
my
good.
God.
Oh yeah, so
Boring
fucking great.
bullshit.
If I'm like, yeah, fuck me, daddy. Oh fuck, take this pussy. That's yours.
You good?
Different tone, different energy. Right? Now that's just tone. That's just tone. If I say, you behind me, and I go, fuck me, daddy. 3 different things. Right? You in that down back here? I'm like, fuck yeah, take this is your pussy. You better fucking take it. Oh, baby, I love when you take this pussy. I'm doing all of that shit. You getting a whole nother communication.
I'm about to cry.
I'm sorry. But I'm being straight. So if you learn how to successfully communicate with bodies.
I love it here. This is why I come here every
Yo,
week.
I'm being straight. There is no fucking challenge in your relationship you can't encounter if you could understand how to sexually communicate.
Oh, facts.
Bottom line.
All facts.
All the other problems you have, you're gonna understand. So you know how you be talking to a guy and he asks you how you feeling. You know he knows something wrong. And you like, nah, I'm good. But if I know how your body responds when you good, I'll be able to directly tell what, regardless of what comes out that mouth. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, that's what
Baby,
Drew
talk
do.
to me. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Now I miss my
people
nigga.
just use sex for so many reasons. But if you can truly lock in with your partner, find a strong communication, you can really, really strengthen your relationship so that when you encounter other things, you're aware of what you sound like when you're not okay. You're aware of what you look like when you're not okay. And you are better respond to that person's communication that isn't verbal. And that's the true bread and butter of great communication in a relationship. So
Nigga,
I need
hold
y'all to
on.
kick Brandon out the chat.
Can we get a fucking
I'm sorry.
smoke that
I
shit?
love y'all.
Kick Brandon out the chat.
I'm serious.
Listen.
Nigga said I was bathing my goldfish. I can see that shit and I can't even see.
Communication it has so many different layers to it.
Oof.
I don't think that my lady be understanding how she's communicating to
With
me
you?
with me when she's not speaking. Like I'm reading it. I know
And
you're
she
not
gives
okay.
a lot of body language.
Yeah,
I've been around her to know that. Yeah. She's not
okay.
the most vocal person.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
no, she is.
Like I mean, like in most in setting, but like
In social settings.
in social settings.
Yes.
But her body language is loud. I saw that on her the first time, so I can
Jesus.
see you probably really.
Fuck.
I know you going through it over there. So what
So
do you?
is she.
How do you deal with it?
Patience, grace. I think that's a good word. And the fact that she's communicated to me that sometimes it just takes her a minute to get to the place where she wants to actively say
Okay.
what's happening and not to take shit personal, as Daj has told me before, everything ain't always about me. Sometimes she's taking in information from so many different things and is trying to figure out herself.
She really loves you.
What to right?
She really loves you, Tahoe, and you might not realize it from just that statement.
Why you say that?
But women, we naturally are impulsive by nature. We're emotional beings by nature. We like the fucking weather. We could be like the weather in Florida. We could be fucking thunderstorming and 5 minutes later bright and sunny. So if a woman is willing to recognize that she needs to take in a certain amount of information, process it before she communicates to you, that's a lot of love. Because most women, when they are only consumed with their feelings, they're gonna fly off. They're gonna fly off. And then later on, after they thought about it and they realized that they might come back to you and be like, all right, baby, maybe I was bugging.
Yeah, she rarely
But the
does
woman
that.
who stops and says, before I come to you, let me make sure I understand it. She really cares about you because she want to make sure that she gives it to you in the best possible way.
Well, if we're going to talk about the way people respond to their emotions, I do have a video I like to play.
Okay.
It's not that type of video, Kasha.
I know, but I'm...
Relax. You brought up addiction.
Yes.
I want to play this for y'all.
I'm smacking your mother like it. Is she okay?
I hate this fucking video.
Will you talk to me? Talk to me. Fuck you.
Can somebody describe this out there?
Wake up. I'm smacking your
She
mother
looked like she's high or under the influence, and he's screaming and trying to
wake her up,
smack
trying to get a
her to get a
response, trying to get a
response.
response.
Ugh, that
The
shit
caption
breaks
is
my heart.
10-year-old boy repeatedly slaps his mother after finding her high on drugs in the street with his little brother.
Oh my God.
We will talk about this video tomorrow on the next episode of So Shameless. You already know what I say. You already know what I say. I say every week. Patreon.com/So Shameless Podcast. To hear it right now. Or we'll see you tomorrow. Y'all all right? That was rough, right?
That
was
shit.
Here you're back in
seconds,
this
I'm ready on the
episode
1 second.
with us today. They're telling me I need to give y'all a trigger warning for the video we saw yesterday.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank
It was a trigger warning for the video we saw at the end of yesterday's episode.
Yeah.
So we saw a young man,
Young boy.
10 years old. His moms was sitting on the stoop, on the steps outside, very lethargic. That's the word, lethargic. Looked like she was kind of out of it.
Yeah, she
And
was
there was
definitely in a daze. You could
Yeah,
tell
she was in a
high.
daze, and there was like a baby sitting next to her daughter, I believe it was. Let me see if it says little brother, and the baby maybe 3 years old. He's slapping the mom. Mommy, wake up. Mommy, can you hear me? Say something. Slaps her again. I was like, yo, you just slap your moms like that? This invoked a lot of responses from people on the internet basically telling me, yeah, you don't know what he's going through.
Nigga, you
Right
have
now.
no idea what that little baby going through.
Why do y'all say that? I'm like,
Because I don't know what it's like to have a parent that is addicted to drugs, or to have a parent that cannot respond and or articulate and or be present when I need them to be present, to the point that they're kind of just like stuck in a zombie-like phase. But as a kid that lacks a certain amount of emotional intelligence and range, that has to be terrifying. And you're screaming and you're not getting a response. You don't know what to do. Do you shake them? Do you slap it? Like you're not understanding that your mother is on a substance that she cannot just snap out of. So how do I, as a small person, understand that and get the response that I need, which is I need my mother to respond, and I need my mother to be aware that whatever it is that I'm saying or whatever it is that I need from her, like, I need you to snap out of your high. I need you to snap out of your daze. How do you do that at 10? Mm-hmm. You yell, you scream, you shake, and then you're going to hit. Because if I'm yelling at you and you're not responding, I'm screaming, you're not responding. Other people are moving around, you're not responding. My young sibling is with you, you're not responding. How many other options do I have? You're my mom. Like, you are the authoritarian. You are the person that I look to. You are my person. Like, if I can't get my mom to see me, who can? That shit is, it's layered, and you're small. And I think that for me, as an educator, that's why I give my kids a lot of grace. Mm-hmm. That's why I lead with love. That's why grades are important to a degree. But I tell my kids I love them more in a period than I probably tell anybody in a week, because I don't know what y'all going through. And I can't just pressure you to learn. Like, if you're not, a hungry kid can't learn. A traumatized kid can't learn. A tired kid can't learn. So you got to give them grace and space. And I just feel for that kid, because you're a young kid. You're 10. You still got to go to school every day and show up and perform. And your mother is like this. You can't tell nobody at school that your mother's like this, because that's the case. You're going to get taken away. You don't know where you're going to wind up. There's layers to the shit that certain kids go through when they're seeing their parents just not at their best. And like, that invokes a lot of emotion out of me, because I know how much I love kids. The ones that I can send back home, the ones that's not mine, you know, because mine, they
just
cool
saying
or
fuck them kids.
It's always fuck them kids, but it's also me understanding little people. And I feel like my calling is paying it forward to, when my mom died, I was 15. My teacher, my ELA teacher, she took me and she coddled me, and she gave me a place to rest, gave me a place to sleep, gave me love. Like, I call her to this day. I call her mom to this day. Like, she's like my pseudo mom. So I always felt like I had to pay it forward, because she saw what I was going through and gave me more humanity than rigor, lecture, structure.
You know, I never realized that. Are you saying that you think that your affinity to be a teacher was connected to losing your mom?
Absolutely. Not only connected to losing my mom, but connected to the response that I got from my teacher. And that love that I got from that's why I lead with love with my kids. I lead with love and hugs and all of that. Like, if it wasn't for her, I would not be able to be where I am. She's still my mentor to this day. I still call her to this day, from 9th grade to now. So
I can relate to that.
I feel for that child, because I understand what children go through that's bigger than the surface of, you're a kid, you don't have any problems. You're a kid, you just need to be a kid.
Now, Kasha, you saw the video. I didn't know it needed a trigger warning. I just thought it was video on the internet. And you said it kind of invoked some feelings in you as well.
Well, I'm that kid. So, of course.
Why do you say that?
I mean, my mother's a mental disorder with a drug addiction. I'm directly that kid, right? The only difference between me and that child is 10, and I was a teenager with a little bit more of a awareness. Ironically, in my book, I talked about this, and I was speaking about my relationship to motherhood as a result of my mother's parenting. Now, let me be very clear. I love my mother to this day. My mother is herself, best person ever. I had to come to a place of understanding that when she was in her manic state or under the influence, that she wasn't herself. But as a child, you don't possess not only the emotional intelligence, but maturity to understand the demographic. What people have to understand about children, because I challenge anyone who has a young child to go home and ask the child who's under the age of, say, 7, why they love them. All of the reasons that children attach their love to their parents for as a kid is related to service with that. They don't understand or comprehend the return of love that a parent might feel from them. They know their parent loves them because of how their parent cares for them, what they do for them, the things that they do to keep them safe. Parents are supposed to be the place that you feel that from. That starts, and as we were talking, and I opened it up on my phone because I always want to make sure I don't confuse the titles of the 4, because the wording could be confusing, but I understand it. It challenges attachment theory and attachment style. So in psychology, there's a lot of conversation around that. And what that basically is a study of how a mother, specifically, mostly a mother, but any parent, parents their child from literally inception, right? And so now directly shapes their relationships and attachment styles to people in adulthood, right? So this child is the example of the disorganized attachment. So what that means, normally you see disorganized attachment in a parent like her, because not only is the parent inconsistent, right, and not showing up the stuff, that child never knows who to expect, right? So for me, the same thing through high school, right, or whatever the case is, when I woke up in the morning, it was like a box of Valentine's Day chocolate. You know how some of them is good, but you don't find out until what? You bite it. So until I wake up, until I encounter my mother, I don't know who I'm about to experience. And then I have to adapt according to who that is, and still walk out the house and go to school like this, and not supposed to be a problem kid, not supposed to be anything. Teachers like who she described herself to be are the ones who could become the significant difference for that child. You could be the one anomaly that changes everything for them. I almost didn't finish high school, not because of grades. I was actually top of my class kind of kid, but for my senior year in high school, 70% of my attendance I wasn't there. So just off of attendance alone, I almost didn't graduate.
Why?
Luckily, because I was at home. I'm the eldest of my mother's children.
You had to take
because
care of
I was
siblings.
taking care of my 6-year-old brother. And if you remember, I spoke about on a prior episode conversation, my oldest child is my brother. Right, he's 23 now, but I was his legal guardian from age 10. Right, at that point I was 21 years old. I became a mom of 2. So, but prior to that, before it was legally on paper, I was already mothering him. So in my high school years, he's 6, I'm 16, 17 at home, right, dropping him, taking him to school, picking him up from school. I'm working. Right, I started working at 14 and ever since, paying the light bill, paying this and this and that. But by the time I was 17, 18, my first sexual experience while I escaped a sexual assault was because my mom wasn't securing my home. My door wasn't even secure. People could walk in my house at any given point. The only thing that was pushed against it was like a dresser or a chest to keep it closed. So I came home to a stranger in my bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a parent like that, who not only is doing these things, but so out of it in the days that they don't even realize that they're doing it, that child has to grow up a lot fucking quicker. That way to shapes that is they now become adults who deal in unpredictability. If they don't do the work, they're now always expecting that people will be just like that. You don't realize it. So now this kid is out here, and I was triggered because as the eldest, I only wanted to shelter my siblings from the exposure of how deep it was. But I literally have, with my mom, physically fought her as she tried to take money from inside my bra to go support her addiction. So I'm like, just like him, Ma, what are you doing? Why are you hit? What are you doing? Give me that money. Da-da-da. Get the fuck off of me. Chill the fuck out. Trying to restrain my own mother from stealing money from me to go buy drugs. So when you're dealing with something like that, you have to recognize at 10 with his young sibling out there, this child is already having to operate like an adult. Because the part about that's most alarming for me is, and I can't help but think about is if he's out there slapping her,
what are other people doing?
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And if you're that out of it and you can't even respond to not only your child as a mother, I can hear my child's voice
and that's
from
it.
Rooms. Like
I could be drunk. I could be high, but my child, the sound of my child in distress is an alarming thing that will take me straight out of it.
And you can't even
process
you can't see it in his face. You can't hear it in his voice. she slapped him and he slapped her and she just moved and just came back. It didn't even affect her.
And he's embarrassed.
That's dangerous.
So now he's embarrassed.
That's
At 10,
dangerous.
you already got enough to deal with the social component of children. Children are mean sometimes, straight up. So now,
because it only take one kid to be like, that's
your
why your
crackhead
mother is a crackhead.
your mom.
I saw your mother leaning on the corner. Now you fighting everybody.
Now
and you got
fighting
the right
to defend your
to.
mother. And now guess what? Because I had to fight you because you was talking shit about my mama. Now when I go home to my mother, I'll be transparent and say to you, I've called my mom a crackhead bitch. I've called her all kind of out of anger, of pushing to the point where it's like, fuck you. Fuck you. Do you know how many decisions in my life were shaped around your behavior? I got accepted. I applied to 10 colleges and I got accepted to 9. My dream school was on that list and could not go away to school because I had to stay home and raise my brother. And that at some point, I realized that this wasn't about to change. I literally parented my brother until he was an adult himself. I was the name on the college applications. You know what I'm saying? So now, not only is one life, how many lives are affected by this one person's
decision? Yeah. Like, I have students that have been through certain things. Like, I've had students that have had parents that had addiction, left them home for months. Students that developed eating disorders because they had younger siblings, and for them in their head to process, like, I have to make sure that my little siblings eat before me. How can I have to keep them alive. I have to make sure that they survive, to the point that they develop eating disorders, to the point that I'm like a mother to so many kids. Like, I can look at some of my students and see things that their parents can't. I can look at some of my students and be like, you haven't eaten in a couple of days. I could tell it in your face. I keep snacks in my room for this very reason. Like, when's the last time you drank water? I could see it on you.
Which is
like,
why teachers are the most underpaid.
Fucking uniforms. Like, I keep extra shirts. Like, I have a drawer in my classroom full of pads because just in case, like, my kids come to me for everything. There are kids that literally will come in 7 o'clock in the morning like, I had to be up all night with my little brother because my mother had to work. I'm tired. That's why I put a couch in my classroom. Nigga, go to sleep.
In case you take a nap. And you know what's so interesting about that? For me, at 10, I was in foster care for a couple of months, and I was separated from my siblings. My sister and I were together, and my brothers were with another family. So for a little while, later on, when the addiction showed up, because that was off of my mother's bipolar. She had a manic episode, took my younger brother as a newborn out in the wintertime with a pamper on. That's it. So now child services coming to snatching up, right? So now I'm a teenager, and she has another challenge, and I got this 6-year-old brother, and I'm like telling my school, listen, I can't come to school, point blank, but also I don't want them calling them people. Yep. Because you know what that means? I'm a teenager. I can't legally take care of my brother, so I'm trying to protect him from potentially ending up in a system. So what you don't realize is a parent like that inadvertently creates a lot of challenges. Now, what people should understand is, like, they should research attachment styles because it's so much significant data behind it that you can still nurture yourself to be what they call a secured attachment. But it basically speaks to a parent's response to their child in distress or just how they show up for their child, and period. So if your baby cries, are you the parent who immediately responds to what's going on with them? Or are you the parent who's like a little bit more distant and don't respond and let them cry it out and figure it out on their own?
Yeah, I'm not doing
and
that.
then are you the parent who is so out of it that you don't even aware that your child is crying? So there's a lot of significant factors, but they shape on that response determines people's attachment to people. Do I trust that people will respond to me if I'm in distress? So a lot of times a child like him who feels like that won't be the case, they feel like they always got to be prepared themselves. They feel like people are guaranteed to show up differently no matter what. They have a really hard time forming bonds and trust with people. And when they go to school, hopefully a child like him encounters a teacher like her, right? That might be the single anomaly that changes the narrative for them. Because for me, my teachers were that. I have one that I call my second mother. right? She gave me my first job, everything. She was a mentor to me. But people always ask me like, oh, you love this music? I'm like, I love Haitian music because I had a Haitian teacher in 6th grade who stayed behind after hours, who worked more with me, who spent more time with me because she saw exactly what I was dealing with. And that person became so significant to me that even their culture and when she used to bring her food, I have fond memories of being in my teacher's class while she was playing her music and bringing her food.
That's so dope.
So it's a different association, but not every kid has that. And that's, let the record reflect, teachers are deeply fucking underpaid.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I spent so much money on my kids today.
Till this day.
Just today, I spent $100 on them. Fuck
that
these
speaks
kids.
about the different ways in parenting. I wasn't planning on getting into it, but let's hear what they have to say.
Give you some of
That's not what I was going to.
I already know the deal. It always happens with your phone.
We talk about 3 modes of parenting. One is the permissive parenting, where you allow any behavior and you don't interfere. You know, that's the worst thing you can do. Kids need to feel that somebody's in charge. Yeah. Parenting is not a democracy. It's a hierarchy. In a hierarchy, there's a dominant force. The parent dominates the child not to exploit or to suppress, but to nurture and to support. If you have a 1-year-old child, they don't get to vote on whether they get to crawl outside in the wintertime. That's just how it is. It's a hierarchy. It's not a democracy. The 1-year-old doesn't get a vote on going into the slush and the snow. So that's permissive parenting. That's not very good. Then there's repressive parenting, which some experts that we've talked about advocate. That's authoritarian parenting. In between them is the golden mean. So there's permissive parenting here, authoritarian parenting here, then there's authoritative parenting in the middle. Authoritative parenting is I'm in charge. I know what's good for you. I'm the authority, so I know what to do with you. So if a child is upset, you say, oh, you're upset. You know, you're angry with mommy. Mommy wouldn't let you have a cookie before dinner. Yeah, you're really upset about that. Yeah, well, come here. I know how you feel. In other words, you validate the emotion. You don't punish the child for it. And you hold the child, because the child needs to learn that they can go through these difficult emotions and get through them. And still be loved. And still be loved. But you talk about 3 modes of parenting.
That is the secured attachment. It's similar in what he's saying. So agree with what he was speaking about, because that's a big problem we got today. First of all, most of these kids, they say they too busy being their friends, but that's because a lot of their parents are aged to be their friends, if you want to get technical, right?
They're emotional intelligence or literal age.
Right, like literally. But when he said that, so I'm very big on the same thing with my children, and it's a battle. There's no fucking rule. Can we just acknowledge there's no guidebook to this shit? We winging it. We looking for information.
Nigga,
and we trying to see
are building a bicycle and riding it at the same time. Every day,
every single time, and that's all you can do. But it's the commitment to right, constantly evolving and being a better parent that we hope makes them a better person, and that we hope that they strive to be a better person too. And that's the only way we could trend upwards as opposed to the opposite. But what he said about the authoritative style, validating the emotions, is so important, because I'm gonna say this. One thing I learned in counseling after experiencing my domestic abuse was that person was able to get in my head because they were able to invalidate my feelings so successfully, to the point that I'm like, yeah, you are a stupid bitch. Right? So when you have a parent who validates your emotions, who lets you know you're right to feel this way, you tend to lack questioning the feeling you're having. And it's harder for people to convince you that you're just losing your mind, gaslight you, I'm like, no, there's a basis for why I feel the way I feel, right? Now, the other part that he said, I'm very big on not being a huge disciplinarian, so I know that child understands what they did wrong. There's a level of you talking to them, but comprehension levels matter with children, right? Talking to a child at a certain age as you better not without an explanation, and then not just the explanation, actually confirming that they fucking understood you, that they comprehended what you said, so that the next time that they ass is getting punished or hit, you know that it's for a behavior that they knew what they were doing and they intentionally chose to do the wrong thing, and now you're getting punished, as opposed to I don't even know what the fuck I did wrong. I just
Right.
know you mad and your response to anger is punishment and da 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 da. So they don't ever get to comprehend the wrongdoing. And then we wonder why they show up as adults who don't understand why their behaviors are problematic.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Each and everybody person in here is a step parent. We're all step parents of sorts, right? You don't have to be married to be a
Yeah.
step parent.
You got bonus babies out there.
Yeah.
Even me. That's fine.
Yeah.
I have a question. I asked my stepdaughter to do something. She basically said no. What do I do?
What's her mother's
Which
response?
one?
The one that I'm close with both of them, but one.
But you know that she struggles, so
Yeah.
you can't take that no as
So
face value.
she's late for work. She's late for school. She's 20 minutes late for school. You cannot be late anymore. I'm like, you have to leave now. She's like, I got to do my hair. I'm like, you don't have time to do that. You need to leave now. She's like,
No.
no, I need to do my hair. So her mom came and was like, hey, listen,
Wildin'.
listen, right? But it stopped me in my track because this is the one that I'm really like been working with, right? And I was just like, I literally stood there in the doorway like, what do I do now? Because I'm just standing there like, fuck, I'm not her dad. I can't.
But being
I can't.
But being authoritative
Yeah.
means that you're an authority.
Yes.
That doesn't designate that you're you're a father.
Yeah.
You're an authority figure in her life and how she responds to authority. So that's why these kids go to school and they be talking to their teachers how they talk to them, because they don't recognize that just
Can't
because I
relate.
ain't your mama,
I'm a spaz.
I'm still the authority.
So what am I supposed to say?
In this environment?
Nothing.
So her mom may have came and handled it. My actual recommendation is that she doesn't do that next time and instead backs you. Right? Because if I just come in and I take over, I'm just re-securing her ability to respect me.
Right.
As opposed to saying, he spoke to you and you know he's right.
Yep. And
right?
That's yep.
Did you hear what he said? You need to respect him as opposed to edifying you. Edification is so important when you have step parents. If the primary parent or the parent that's caregiving doesn't edify the step parent, then they basically are communicating directly to that child that it only counts when I say it.
Yeah. It doesn't.
And
count
it's
when
not
you
on
say
purpose
yep.
that we do it, because we're winging it, like I said. So she may not have realized that.
I don't think she even heard her say no.
Say no.
She kind of said it under her breath.
Right.
Like very low. And she already speaks very low.
Yeah,
So
she
she
does.
said it like very like, no, I
I
need
almost
to do
texted
my
her the
hair.
other day.
But it's like, if you know,
Check
it's
in.
almost like if you have a person, like I say this in leadership period, because this is a leadership conversation. In business, I think about that all the time. If I'm growing a team and I'm teaching you X, Y, and Z, at some point, I got to let the team exercise that they are capable of doing it.
Yes.
But if I'm always running in, if I'm always
Micromanaging.
exactly, right? Not actually pushing them out the nest and letting them show me they can fly, then they won't think they can do it, right? So it's important that in front of that child at any age that they see we're a united front.
It's us versus you.
Right. So
sorry.
Right.
But
And
that's
if I'm
really what it
choosing
is.
this person in my life, then I'm trusting their influence over you. Because nobody's gonna get engaged to or marry a person that they don't feel would be a good, you know what I'm saying? So I think next time and not even just next time, actually, even still in response to this, hey, the other day, I understand this happened. And I need you to understand that if he's saying something to you, it's because I trust that he's not going to tell you to do anything wrong or against God or your faith and your value system. I need you to respect him and listen to that.
Yeah.
So I chose a different route.
How'd you handle it?
That was Friday.
Did you wake her up earlier?
No. I waited a couple of days because I was going through my own Pisces emotions about it. My feelings was hurt.
Yeah.
My feelings was hurt. I was
know they
like,
was.
damn, like,
Because
this is my
that's it.
nigga.
Because that's your
Especially
nigga,
because
and
it's a shock because you're like, yo, we've been good. Wow, we're suddenly you
Right.
treat me like a
you are
treat you like-
transitioning from cool boyfriend to bonus parent.
Yeah.
So you can't. She gonna start treating you like stepdad, and stepdad ain't gonna be fun all the time because sometimes stepdad gotta come in and be on some
shit.
dad shit.
So, we go to basketball practice together. I take her to basketball practice, and I basically got in the car. It's a good half an hour drive, and I asked her, I just started asking her a bunch of questions about how she feels about life and the house and everything. And then I basically was like, so I have a question for you. I explained to her what happened. And I explained to her, like, it just kind of made me feel weird because what am I supposed to do with that? I was like, I'm here trying to add to your life. I'm here but you put me in a position where I almost don't know how to relate to you. Do you want me to feel that way? I was like, because I'm literally 50 years old and I told you to do something and you basically told me to go myself. And I was like, I'm not going to respond well to that. And that means you're not going to be able to respond well to me. I'm not going to respond well to you. So how do we get past that? I definitely heard this video first about different parenting styles. And I was like, so how did it make you feel when I told you that? And she was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, did it make you feel like I didn't care that you need to do your hair? Because I care about that. But I see the bigger picture and the things that you need to do to get past school that you're not paying attention to. I'm never telling you nothing wrong. So we had that conversation. And I think it was really beneficial
That's good.
So I think it was really beneficial.
Like you humanized yourself.
She was really. I tried to humanize her.
Humanize,
her
feelings, and give her something to
But especially,
consider.
yes, and I humanized myself as well.
Kids often think that adults don't have feelings, and they often think that you can't hurt their feelings or make them feel a way based on your reactions because the way that their brain does not process that. So it's always important to humanize yourself with a kid. Like, yes, it's because I feel like important.
I may have made myself vulnerable too. Like,
well,
you're a parent.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to be an authoritative, do as I say, not as I do parent, you do have to, like a tyrant. You do have to be vulnerable. You do have to like have those. These are things that we were not taught, and these are types of parenting styles that we did not have.
Do as I say, and I ain't got to answer no questions.
And I can understand why you would battle with feeling vulnerable as a parent or being in a parental space, but I do know that it's important. There is value and vulnerability with children because these children are not how we were. And they don't just blanketly give respect and they don't just blanketly listen. It's not just, because it's an adult, I have to. And then under your breath, you stomp and you feel a kind of way about it. They're going to be like, yeah, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't really agree with that. I don't feel like that's the right thing for me to do. You have to give them the bigger picture. You have to be vulnerable. You have to kind of speak to them on their level. And I know from working with this generation of kids that if you come in on some rah-rah, they're going to come in on some fuck you. And then when they say fuck you, you're going to be taken aback like, I ain't never in my life had a kid talk to me like that.
The problem is they so used to saying kids these days. The problem is kids these days are not growing up in the same environment and climate. We talked about that earlier when we talked about the situation with the way men catcall at you. We even acknowledge, there was a point in time where it didn't feel this crazy. Yes. Right? So if we're acknowledging that even that's changed, we got to acknowledge that these kids are also growing up in that world, right? That we're talking about is fucking crazy. So I think people are so attached to wanting kids to behave in a way we used to be instead of acknowledging that the social structure of the world today is not what it was. But I think that it was good that you had that conversation with her, and I'm happy that she was able to kind of open her ears and hear some of your perspective. I think when it comes to conversations around this, we got to recognize that being a step parent or step child doesn't have a good name on it right now. Like, think about this. When we say these casual ass statements, we don't think anything of it. You treat me like a stepchild. We associate the treatment of a stepchild when you treat me like a different, like a other, like a throwaway. You are optional. You ain't that important. Not like my child, right? So if we have indirectly associated this relationship dynamic with a you ain't shit thing, that child has to first learn how to receive it. And it sounds like she also is still dealing with some stuff, right? And you're helping her navigate it. So there's a grace for helping her understand how to receive your love and understand that love doesn't only show up in the ways that makes her feel like, you know, everything is all good. Sometimes that love is, I'm being hard on you about this because it'll make you better, and you do need to understand that. Listen, you spending this time on your hair. If you need that much time on your hair,
You gotta wake up
You gotta
earlier.
plan earlier to get up earlier because that's a priority. Because someday, staying and doing her hair could cost her an opportunity, a career, a job. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, it could
A test, a grade,
a grade.
a award, a game, anything.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is, because love doesn't just show up in the ways we want it to. Honestly,
in
the best
happy,
forms of
cushy
love
ways.
push you, expand you to grow, and sometimes growth is uncomfortable first.
Yep.
You know.
Well,
Dealing with
I
kids
also
is tough.
kind of, I think that it's a lot easier for me because I spend that basketball time with her.
Yeah.
So I take her to the park, just me and her go, and we have this one-on-one things, and I'm teaching her things, and it's dope that I think that she sees the improvement amongst her teammates and on the court. So being that I'm able to talk to her as like a coach / stepdad or bonus dad or whatever that is, and she's seeing the results. We went to practice. I taught her like the 1-2, like teaching her the 1-2 before the whatever, and her coach was like, "Yeah, whatever you doing, keep it up," right?
But you chilled at the games though, right?
No, I was yelling.
Oh gosh.
Well, I was yelling at
What's wrong with
practice. I
that?
can't help it.
No, he got an email for his behavior because he's horrible
At the games.
stand parent.
But
Jesus
to
fucking
her, the things that they emailing you about are the things that she loved the most, because you
You
took
could be
time to
Christ. Yeah, you got it. No,
embarrassed.
you don't know.
No, it's a whole
Whatever
different
you
level.
think
You
that
ain't never
is,
been there.
Top it.
No, it's another
Top it,
level.
like
You
take it
never
to a
been
new.
there.
They send the
Damn.
email.
nigga.
That's a
No,
whole
I need
different
you to
level, my
really
nigga.
Damn,
understand.
Tahoe.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, I'll run up and down the court.
Tahoe, you gotta find an equal medium.
I told this
you
nigga
gotta
to
find
make a
safe
sign
middle.
and be happy. But go ahead.
Yeah.
At the end of the day is, I think that, so we're going home and out. So I'm like, what did you remember about what we talked about today in practice? And she's like going over the things that we've talked about. And I was like, what worked for you? And she was like, the 1-2. I was like, you actually thought about it? She was like, every play, 1-2, 1-2. That shit felt mad good to me, but it also felt like she had a level of trust in what I was telling her. This is after our initial conversation. So the other day I had to bring my sons here, so we went there for a second and we came here. Before I left, I was like, you need to take a shower. You need to do this. You know, and you could see her starting to get ready to go take a shower. I was like, yeah, I got her. Like she trusts me enough.
You were first how she felt about it.
Yeah.
And Tao, that's dope, because look, as a girl, she definitely needs that support. The fact that you took time to dive into her interests, not just to show up, but to proactively be a part of it,
Yeah.
something she's interested in. Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And I think just the 1-2 shows her that, like, listen, sometimes if you listen to me, she
You
got
gonna
to
get
see
something.
directly the results.
And
so
it's
that's
going to help you amongst your peers.
Yeah.
And the things that you want to do. The fact that worked like that, first of all, I know y'all don't care about this. When she did it, she did the 1-2.
What you mean I don't care about this?
Bro, I saw it, and I'm on the balcony on the other side of the gym. I go, yeah. Like, yo.
Did you
when
run
I
across?
seen it, she went in 1-2, huh? No,
Did
I
you
was on the
run?
balcony.
All right,
So
good.
I'm just looking down, and her coach her coach was like, yeah, Sanaa, I see it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But her coach like praised her on the move, and I was like, I just taught her that yesterday. And I know she felt it. And so, yeah, when we got home and whatever the next day, it just felt like, okay, she heard me in the car. She also felt me in us doing things together. And that by the time I came back to give her this direction the next day, all of that was incorporated in her welcoming my, I don't want to say aggression, but my instructions.
Yes, your
You know what I'm saying?
directives.
It's super hard being a bonus parent. though.
Hell yeah.
It's super hard being a
I'm
bonus
still
parent.
not at the parenting
You're trying
stage
not
yet.
to trip the wires.
Yes.
You try. You know what I'm saying? There's so many fucking, like, it's like that game back in the day. Remember the computer game Minecraft or
Yeah,
some shit like that?
Minecraft.
We just press it, just like, it's a bomb. Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to tiptoe and hope that you don't step
Right.
on bombs,
Right.
because you know that there's a level of autonomy over this child you don't have. You don't,
Right.
you don't
Right.
have, and I think what you did is so good, because she was able to make a positive association with your instruction.
My instruction.
So now there's a less of a second guessing, and that goes back to what I was saying. Like if
Son,
children
the way
don't
she
understand,
jumped to start getting in the shower, it was like it just clicked, and I was like,
because
oh shit.
you helped her understand why.
Oh shit.
And that people think that just because a kid is 17 or 16 and they're not a toddler, that's not still required. They're still figuring out how they're going to navigate this world. Yeah. But we tend to have more grace sometimes, I'm going to say that, with the child that's young, that we lose because we expect you know better. You should know better. You how many times you hear that come out to an older kid? But it's like, are they? Right. We fucking adults sitting here right now still trying to figure it the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? 30s, 40s, and 50s and shit like that. We up here like, yo, what the fuck? How the fuck do we help? So how we expect them? And we talking right now. You like, yo, I'm trying to figure this out.
I'm really trying to figure it out.
So we got to get on the same understanding that they're still trying to figure it out, and they're going to be doing that for a long time. Yeah. But with the right support, they might just figure it the fuck out.
I still call my daddy crying, and I'm gonna keep doing it forever. I don't give a fuck. I'm still trying to figure it out.
It has been fuck an amazing week. This has been an amazing week.
Yeah,
I'm hoping, and I might label every show something different. It might not even have the same title.
Really?
Just because these episodes
spice up
have
your life.
all been like so important for each one thing that we've been talking about per episode. It's been amazing. So I'm hoping that our audience is appreciating the direction that we're going with the show. I do want to thank Trav, our producer, for coming up with his breakdown this week. I want to thank Tasia. I want to thank Kasha. I want to thank Daj. Melly, of course. Thank you so much for sitting here. Melly be over there dozing off. She is up today.
Melly was in here. She got in these conversations today.
It's the pink. Kept her awake.
Well, let's get out of here with cap or no cap.
Lego.
Cap or no cap being, I'm going to read a statement from the internet. You tell me if it's cap or if it's no cap. All right? At user such and such and such, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Men will ruin your life and then wish you happy birthday like nothing happened.
No cap.
No cap.
Hate
what?
These niggas.
First of all, your life's not ruined. It's your birthday. Like, what is this?
My life was ruined the day that I met you. So why are you texting me happy birthday?
You feel a way about the way we broke up or whatever happened doesn't mean I can't say happy birthday.
Keep it to yourself.
No, it don't even be that. It be the fact that sometimes, and this isn't always, obviously nothing is always, but a lot of the times there's a lot of shit that's being done to you. They won't acknowledge all the fucked up shit they did to you,
but
and
say
then
happy birthday.
To go on as if nothing happened.
Sick people.
Oh, happy birthday! Like nothing happened.
Your experience doesn't necessarily dictate mine.
Shut up.
It doesn't have to. But my thing is, so all right, let me flip the
let's
flip the
ruin my life. If you ruin my life, that means that you did
y'all
some
can be
OD
overreacting.
shit.
You could have overreacted to something I did. I didn't even want us to stop talking. You wanted us to stop talking
because you violated.
All right, now you've been
red flag.
Acting weird. Okay, fine. We don't fuck with each other. Now your birthday come. I remember your birthday. Out of all my bitches, I remember your birthday.
Out of all my do not engage.
She said,
I wish you happy birthday because I care. I wish you happy birthday because I care.
For 2 seconds, Tahoe, there's not that many times that I can't look at you for 2 seconds. I can't. I gotta stay right here.
Do not engage,
nigga. Like, no. Now you look at me.
Be so fucking for real.
Nah, real shit, real nigga shit. That's no cap to a degree. Like at the end of the day, it's the greatest form of gaslighting possible.
It is. Because it's like you want me to curse you out on my birthday. I don't even want to remember that you're alive.
Take the one day that's about me and celebrating my life.
Yeah.
So and you gonna make it about
pop up when you know that you're the cause of a lot of fucking negative.
That was 6 months ago.
All right.
I said don't.
Why are you? So you dead ass?
Yo, my baby dad did that
6 months ago. I
did that last year.
Yo, you still thinking about that? We don't fuck with each other. Like, all right, but.
If I don't fuck with you, don't tell me happy birthday. Nigga, did I tell you happy birthday?
I was happy with another nigga though. That was the only thing that saved him. Cause he hit me up on that after it's your birthday. I'm like, nigga, you knew my birthday was coming. You claimed you was about to be a part, but now you want to hit me up tonight talking about what's up, what you doing tonight.
It's your birthday.
I'm with my nigga.
Oh, shout out to my baby. I love you.
Show my ring.
Nah,
I didn't. Yeah, I haven't done that in a while.
Cap or no cap? mothers be like, I need a break, but then don't trust a soul with the kids.
No fucking cap. Niggas be doing wild shit. No, I don't trust nobody with my baby.
So
There's like
are you doing it to
3
yourself
people.
or not? All right.
It's like, yo, you know why? I told y'all this
Nah, I
before.
respect
I
that.
don't play.
I respect
Pause.
that.
Let me spin it back. I'm gonna take my. There's a little bit of cap to it. A little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I agree that they don't be trusting people with their kids. I firsthand understand that, especially having a kid who can't always verbalize, right? Because I don't know. My young child is gonna be like, as soon as I pick him up, he gonna start running down the fucking like
what
it's
happened?
a daily digest. Mom, I'm so happy you're here. Let me give you the notes. Yesterday we had grilled cheese. That little nigga gonna tell me what's up. My older son, not so much.
Right.
So I do understand that, but at some, I'm a big believer in the village. Sometimes the village is the village you are gifted with at birth by your family, whatever. Sometimes you pay for the village by getting a nanny, Sometimes it's your friends and But if you are that untrusting to the degree of that extent, you got some shit you need to heal in yourself and stop causing your, like, that's just the reality of it. Psychologically, you know what I'm saying? You got to recognize that with kids, to a degree, we have to at points not be on top of them. You send them to school and you hoping that they're in a trusting, safe environment in the school. You know, shit like that. So some of it is cat, because I'm going to say this, as a full-time mom with all the shit that I said I got going on, I absolutely get breaks. I would be a liar if I said right now I'm gonna break. The fuck?
Right now, because it's 10 something.
I ain't picking the kids up till tomorrow. Fuck you mean right now? Tonight is about to be a good time, you know.
See,
but
I need more breaks, but I really don't. I don't.
It's hard to trust
I was watching
people.
a movie with my sons on YouTube. Yeah, these little kids be coming up with some movies. They be having all types of YouTube channel. And this one mother told her kid that her kid had a skin condition and can't go outside.
Oh, I think I saw that movie. That was real fucked up because it wasn't nothing wrong with that kid.
Wasn't nothing wrong with the child.
Like the people who be fucking making their kids sick and shit.
Yeah. Like, no, like there are literally like 3 houses, 3 impossible houses that I'm content with sending my daughter to. And they are all so far apart. That it's like, for me to even get her to any of those places, it takes
It's a lot.
That's an
4 or
outing in
5
itself.
extra steps to the point that for the last 5 years, I've just been home.
Yeah, one of my, so I'm gonna be transparent. When I have to go like film, I film in Miami for the other podcast, so I have to fly out to film. But the person that watches my kids lives 2 hours and 20 minutes away from me, and I drive all the way there.
It's just OD.
You know what I'm saying? And when I come home, I drive all the way back to pick them up. So I'm with you on that shit. And sometimes I'm like, damn, that drive about to be crazy. But I do have family close by. They just not the like couple of days.
Yeah.
You know,
They
you know
like
what I'm
one
talking
night.
about? You know what I'm saying? They like come drop them for a couple hours and pick them up
What
tonight.
time you coming back?
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah.
At Breeze Montana, I'm scared to read this one.
Uh-oh.
I rarely ever see niggas in poly relationships with some fire. Niggas getting bitches off the clearance rack just to have 2.
No fucking cap. No fucking cap. And I want to say this to every person who be sliding in my motherfucking DMs talk about me and my wife love you, knowing that both of you motherfuckers is oompa loompa doopity doos. Stop playing with me, yo. Stop playing with me. Nah, I'm tired of that shit, yo. I'm tired of it, yo. I'm tired of that shit, yo. You know. But all right, keep real talk, yo, because I'm in the lifestyle, y'all. I'm at swing parties. I'm at swing events. Y'all not gonna tell me that 90% of the time when you go to a lifestyle event, that the selection,
Yo, why do you tell me this?
Yo, dead ass, yo. You gotta, it's a pick and choose. So that's, they be like, oh, you're a voyeur? No, I wanna fuck, but none of you. The fuck, yo. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Yo, and it's
I
not
agree.
Even, it's not, and sometimes you just kind of finding yourself looking
Thank God for the heart of soft community.
Yo, you're looking at characteristics and traits of the person. You're trying to see their personality through this shit. But I can't look beyond the fact that to get to certain parts of your body, I gotta move shit. I gotta, I like to look back when I'm getting, I can't even do that because that gonna kill my pussy wetness. And so I just, I sit there and I do this.
Damn, girl.
And I watch. Sorry.
You are going.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back right now. I'm back. Y'all niggas.
Cap or no cap? I'm gonna talk about this on Hard to Soft, by the way.
That niggas be ugly. Bitches be ugly and the niggas be unattractive and they dicks be small.
I think social status matters so much to certain people that like people that kind of fit into like the cool crowd or whatever, they be having them same kinks. They just are scared of judgment from that cool crowd and being outed because you've worked so hard for this social status. That when people don't care about that because they never fit into that certain thing, they're able to be a lot freer.
A little more free. Yes, I agree.
So we judge.
I just want the cool. I want the cool kids to be more free.
Yeah, I think it's cap though.
I want the cool kids to find freedom.
I know a lot of
have somebody
fire chicks that be wanting to come to the parties, like, and be like, when it comes down to
afraid of judgment.
They
and
scared
stuff
of
like
judgment.
That, yeah.
They don't want to be.
Well, there's a level of truth to that, but. I don't know. I work really hard to go against that grain to a degree. Like I came from politics before I went into the sex industry. Worked on political campaigns with governors and senators. I was in one of the most like judgmental areas of youth, sex, anything. You know what I'm saying? Even though politics and sex go hand in hand all the fucking time because of what scandals be, sex scandals, Yep. But at the end of the day, I think it's less about once you find the right environments. That's what I'm saying. People don't spend the time that they need to find the places that they really can have that anonymous sort
That's
of.
why we telling people come to death row.
Yeah,
Come on,
Cap or no cap? I do not care about people not like because Kasha be at. All right, I'm just gonna. She's been to our parties. She's hosted one of ours.
Yes.
I do not care about people not liking me. I actually be trying to make it worse once I find out.
No cap.
No cap. No cap.
I don't really care about. I actually be trying.
If you don't like me, I'm gonna make you hate me.
Nah, I just block you.
No cap.
You don't hate me even
No
more.
cap.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not because. Do people actually not like you in real life, or is that just an internet thing?
That's why I said cognitive dissonance earlier. They hate you for the same reasons they love you, right? So for example, a person could look at me and see how sexually liberated I am. And they could desire that level of liberation, but because they might not be able to access it, they will be like, "Oh, this bitch has always got her." So that's a form of cognitive dissonance, meaning the same that your cognition can't decide whether you want to love me or hate me for it.
Same reason a nigga throw a bottle at you to just try to talk to you.
Exactly. I don't know how to feel about you because you rejected me, but I also had to acknowledge first that you was something I wanted.
You're gonna give me some type of reaction.
Yeah, but that's valid.
People be weird and they need therapy.
For real.
Oh, cap or no cap? I'm gonna do. Oh my God, black people, stop asking each other how the funeral was.
No, for real.
How was the funeral?
Nah,
I got one better.
Funeral is
I got one
crazy.
better. One of my fucking pet
honestly,
peeves.
I'm gonna go in here and say, Cap, I really do want to know though. Sometimes
How was it? It was depressing. Niggas is dead.
Sometimes funerals is entertaining like a motherfucker, y'all. Son. Yo, one of my uncles passed away. That shit was a straight Tubi movie, yo. The niggas, because my uncle, I'm gonna be honest, my uncle Clarence, who was my favorite uncle, but he was a crackhead, yo. He was the nigga that be holding the doors at the check cashing place type shit, right? And I wasn't embarrassed. Please don't tell me about the crackhead. That ass, yo. But I tell me about the crackhead. But man, proud, I used to hug my uncle Clarence every time I saw him. Uncle Clarence, niggas would see me, and he used to run down the niggas I was talking to. Like, let me tell you something. I live in these streets. Jail is a luxury. Don't you treat my niece wrong. That was my favorite uncle, yo, hands down.
Breath smelling like crack.
But when he passed away, his funeral was the event of a century. All the crackers told me, y'all remember back in the day, man, when we took our first hit.
No.
I was like, this is unreal, yo. Our family was like, this is unreal. You couldn't make it up. So sometimes black funerals could be highly...
Yo, Kasha is an amazing guest.
Nah.
One more, and I'm scared. I saved this one to the end.
God.
What's going to happen, Daj?
This is worse than that.
He looked at you, Daj, when he said that, so I'm thinking
Because
it's
she
about
already
to get
did it to you, and I hope they clip it. If not, she's gonna clip the shit.
Oh, because I be going back to the
make
picture.
sure
I make my own clip.
you
Fuck
see
you talk about.
that they see the shit that's
I'm
going on.
afraid. And it be going viral. Fuck out of here.
And it goes viral. Cap or no cap. Men don't know that kissing our neck and ear is not romantic and sexy. It only tickles us and doesn't make us horny.
Cap.
They need to stop.
Cap.
No cap.
Cap.
I'm not ticklish, so that shit don't do nothing for me. Now that shit's stupid. You gotta talk to me. I'm a verbal person. I need to hear words. Don't start your shit.
What that gotta do with?
But what I'm saying, no,
if I'm on your neck, fuck that. I'm fucking with you now.
shameless.
If I'm on your neck and every time I lick, I'm like, you like how that feel, you nasty bitch. And I'm feeding you.
Gonna be the nasty
I'm feeding
bitch.
you the thing that you need while I'm doing it.
It's gonna be the nasty bitch.
Because you don't have to be ticklish to like your neck licked.
Nah, that shit is whack.
Actually, my partner, he didn't like his neck licked because he was ticklish, or at least he thought he didn't. Let me just say that. Because we changed some things. But I realized, you like more than one thing happening to you at the same time. So he was like, I don't like that shit. That shit tickles. I was the big spoon for 2 seconds. I came behind him, started licking his neck, and I reached behind and started stroking his dick while I was doing it. Right? And suddenly, so if I'm looking at neck and I'm playing with that pussy, or I'm in there or whatever, and I'm talking to you the right way, every fucking lick and I'm just, look at you. Listen, look at that shit just getting all moist and fucking.
I'm going home. I'm going home. My family.
It's been a great weekend. It's so shameless. Kasha, please tell these people where to find you.
I'll tell you this.
And how to support you by buying your book.
Oh yes. It's on Amazon already. The book is called When Fear Is Not a Factor. It's volume 2. It's a collaborative book. So there's me and a couple of other women who came together on that book to share our experiences to help other people get past their shit. But
that's so funny.
Best way to connect with me is mad simple because I got different handles on different platforms and shit because feds be watching. I'm just kidding. I'm not a criminal. All right, unless you call making your nigga come back to back crime. You can catch me by texting the word contact. Like, just want to get in contact with me. Text the word contact to 347-657-6575. That's going to respond with a link that has my digital card, my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, social, whatever platforms you're on, you can connect with me there. Links to my adult products that I sell.
What's the number?
It's 347-657-6575 and just send the word contact. It triggers an automated response that's you'll know it's me, my picture shows up, all that shit. And I'm gonna say this. It's a number that I can respond to, right? But don't be fucking abusing that. I'm just kidding. Because it is automated, but I actually see the texts as they're coming in, and if I wanted to, I can answer people. So mad people from Hard or Soft community have done that, and they be like, yo, I saw it, and I'll engage with them. But that's how you get me. That's where you get me where you're at. Adult products that I have, my podcast, all that shit. Everything is there.
Daj,
now tell me, how do I get to you?
Leave me alone.
Look.
I want to know how to find you.
You already follow me. You know how to find me.
I want to find. You giving me permission to follow you? You said.
like down the block.
How far can I follow you?
Home?
Like to the path? I got a car parked downstairs across the street. I could drive you home.
Babe, get the burgers.
It has been an amazing week. Carmelli, enjoy your vacation or your trip. It's your trip. It's a trip. Wherever the hell you going. I hope you get him.
Don't make that face.
Okay. I hope you get him. Yo, what's your fucking problem?
So shameless. Y'all
Yo, son, no.